Now Sports Network, brought to you by Secure Money and Flex Funding. You want some financial assistance? Go call Dan at Secure Money, 623-825-3900. If you got some loan stuff you want to work out, give Los a call, 925-250-4894. Hey, what's up, everyone? Yeah, it's just me tonight. Dan's taking a little break. He might pop in a little bit later. We'll see. He's watching the Warriors game. Warriors are playing some good ball right now, right? Just want to say good evening to you all. I see Spencer, Grand Admiral, Mark. What's up? Spencer, Michael. I saw what you said out there, Michael. I see what you're saying out there, talking about being on time. I saw that. But like today's title says, San Francisco Giants begin spring training for the 2024 season. What's up, Johnny? How's it going? But yeah, we got some news coming out of there. I was going to just take a look at what Pavlovich had to say in his Twitter. It's interesting. Very interesting. What's up, Arrow? Yeah. So let's take a good. Is this MHC? No, not at MHC. That was last night. I'll have another episode this weekend, probably on Saturday. Man, some stuff going on with that, but I'm not going to talk about that now. We'll wait till Saturday on that. First and foremost, prayers and thoughts go out to those who are affected in Kansas City with that horrible, tragic accident, or I shouldn't say event. There's some interesting footage. Saw some citizens taking it into their own mind or taking it into their own hands, tackled the guy, got him down, and was able to get him, maybe prevented some further catastrophe. So yeah, my thoughts and prayers to those who were affected on that. And and bravo to those who stopped that guy. That was awesome to see. But yeah, San Francisco Giants. Let's get right into it, right? See what Pavlovich had to say. First thing, there's a video out there on NBC Sports Bay Area. Bob Melvin showed up early for his first spring training media session, shared some thoughts on the roster. So we'll get into this here. A lot of excitement around Jung-Hoo Lee. He embraces it. We're embracing it. Giants have a new leadoff hitter. Can't wait to get him into the games. Let's see what he does. We can kind of talk about that a little bit. What's up, Morkatna? We'll see what happens. He hasn't done it yet in the MLB level, so we'll see. I'm hoping for the best for him. It's gonna be it's a big jump, right? It's a big jump, and they took a lot of risk on him for the contract that they paid for someone who has never played at the MLB level. So we'll see. This is not to say that he won't succeed, but you know, there's definitely a jump from KBO or even NPB up to the major leagues. We'll see. Yeah, I'm gonna get into that, Will. Absolutely. This roster is perfect for Bob Melvin. So it says Ocean View Coffee Shop. Yeah, I think so. He's used to doing this, right? Isn't Bob Melvin, when he was with the A's, he's used to managing some of these young guys and getting some success out of them. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. But yeah, as far as Jung-Hoo Lee, let's see what he does. He's a contact hitter. You know, that's something we like to see around here. You know, if he's going to be leading off, you know, I'm not expecting him to be Ricky Henderson. Hey, let's get on base. Let's get on base, right? So let's see what he does. Granted, you know, spring training will tell something, not everything, because you got to wait until you get into those big ballparks, and that's where you'll see some stuff. Here we go. Giants signed right-hander Austin Warren to a 1-year contract. He's had Tommy John surgery last year, but has had some big league experience as a reliever for the Angels. Robbie Ray went on the 60-day to clear a spot. See, this is what I was worried about. You know, you're gonna clear a roster spot for an injured guy. It's a Farhan move, right? It's a Farhan move. Let's see what this guy has. I think he pitched like one game, something like that. Let's take a look. Let's see. I guess he's in his 27 year. I don't know when he turns 28, but last year, 2 games, pitched an inning and 2/3, 2 strikeouts, but he didn't walk no one. I don't know. I don't know what this guy features as far as a reliever, but they signed him to a major league contract. I mean, a major league contract. Hey, I appreciate that, Northern Lights. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, but I love talking about that stuff. I really do. It's just something that I enjoyed. Baseball and that type of stuff. That's kind of my wheelhouse. But yeah, okay. It's bullpen depth. Got it. Makes sense. But don't we have guys in the minors that could probably do the same, maybe even have a little bit better success? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I just is that a priority? Is bullpen depth a priority for the team when we probably have some guys down there right now in AAA that could do that? I don't know. Hey, and you got Amir Garrett coming up. You got Ethan Small. Do we need? I don't know. That's just me. I think Mason Black would be an excellent bullpen piece. I think Jordan Hicks would be an awesome bullpen guy, but they want to do this experiment. I don't know where it's going to go. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. What's up, Robert? Eric, will we be contenders? I don't know. Is the roster done being put together? Maybe there's some more moves. The big guys are still out there, right? Bellinger, Snell, Montgomery, Chapman. Those guys are still out there. We'll see what happens. To say we're going to be contenders, I'd say right now we're contending to be in fourth place. Right now. I mean, honestly, the way the roster is, it's going to take a few more moves. If you want them to get into quote unquote a wild card race, because there's no way in heck they're winning the division. That ain't happening. It ain't happening, guys. The division is not going to be won by the San Francisco Giants for a little while. But as for a wild card, you never know. You never know. Is fourth place in the NL West? Does that mean you're going to be able to get a third spot in the wild card? It all depends on what these other teams do. Giants kind of got a little bit lucky last year when they were competing for that wild card because they had other teams that weren't really meeting expectations. So the Giants were able to have somewhat of a shot. Is it going to be the same this year? I don't know. But yeah, Hicks would have been an awesome. Why not just start him in a bullpen? Why? If it isn't broken, the whole what is that? The saying, if you will. Big news here. I like this. I was pleasantly surprised when I read this. Giants prospect Reggie Crawford will focus on pitching from here on out after his first minor league season as a two-way player. I like that. I've been saying that for a while. Just make him a pitcher. Don't worry about hitting. Just make this guy a pitcher. And the same thing with Bryce Eldridge. Who cares about him being a pitcher? Make him a hitter. Let's not overcomplicate things here, guys, right? Let's not overcomplicate it. Let's play to the strengths that these players have. And I think Reggie Crawford will be a better pitcher, and I think Bryce Eldridge will be a better hitter. I like that. That's great news to see that he's going to concentrate on one aspect of his game so he can excel and not have to worry about two things. Look, Ohtani is a unicorn, right? I've heard that a lot. And those kind of players just don't grow on trees. So we'll see what happens. I hope he has a lot of success as a pitcher, and not, let's not worry about the two-way player stuff. Hey, look at that. There's I guess we could let's take a listen, huh? Got all right, there you go. Little Jung-Hoo Lee preview. We'll see how he does this spring. Got Jelly and Small. There was something. There's. Hey, we could take a listen at this. Oh, I don't think there is any sound. I don't hear it. No. So Patrick Bailey in the cage. Spring training has arrived. Where is it that I saw? Oh, here we go. Let's get into this. Oh, the Giants plan to move Sable around the spring, including reps at first base where they need left-handed depth behind Wade Jr. Melvin said Bart, who is out of options, looks great. What does that mean, guys? I get Sable. I mean, Sable's probably going to be in AAA. I'm thinking that's what I'm guessing. You never know. He might make the team. His bat's okay, right? Yeah, I'm going to get into if the Giants, I mean, we talk about this constantly where we think the Giants need another bat. And I agree. I think the Giants need another bat. Absolutely. We'll get into that after we get into this news here that happened in Scottsdale. But Sable, I mean, think about it. That was his first taste of the major leagues last year. I think he had a cup of coffee of AAA, right? But he pretty much jumped from AA to the big league. And that's pretty big. And I thought he conducted himself pretty well, considering. So we'll see what happens when he gets a little bit more seasoning in AAA. I think he's going to be a good player. And we'll see what happens. Maybe he's going to play a factor in this team during the season. Injuries pop up. He may have to get called upon. Now, Bart, what do you guys make of this Bart deal? Melvin said Bart, who is out of options, which means he's got to be at the big club or they have to either trade him or DFA him, right? Looks great. Remember, Melvin, he's a catcher, so he's probably going to be able to have a better relationship with Bart. Not just because of the catcher, he's just a better manager overall compared to Kapler. But I don't know. Unfortunately, I think it might be a day late and a dollar short when it comes to Bart. They're probably hyping, and I was talking to Dan about this earlier, and Dan made a good point. They're probably hyping him up for a trade, try to up his value. You got people in spring training saying, yeah, he's looking great. I think he's going to be a good piece. Just to perk the ears of other teams who may need catching depth, because you got Tom Murphy, who you signed for, was it 2 years, $8 million, and of course you got Patrick Bailey. That's his job, and I don't think the Giants are going to carry 3 pitchers, right? So, yeah, he's only there to catch bullpens. Yeah, that's probably right, Dances. You're probably right. So I don't know. I think they're just hyping him up. Let's see what else we got. Back out of this. Bob Melvin on Jorge Soler, who should be a Giant shortly. He has always scared me. Hopefully he's on our team, scaring the other side. And he says, Bob Melvin said he would be shocked if Jung-Hoo Lee isn't the leadoff hitter on opening day. The plan is for Lee to lead off against righties and lefties. Hey, no platooning. Wow. Look at that. The plan is for Lee to lead off against righties and lefties. Man, a ball player. Man, I hope he succeeds. I really do. I hope he does, because the Giants, they need someone to be able to get on. They need players to get on base. So Soler and another bat can knock him in. So we'll see what happens. Day 1 update. Slater elbow has no hitting restrictions. Is finishing throwing program. That's right. Didn't he have a procedure on his elbow? I think so. Ray is throwing 3 times a week, is on schedule. Reggie Crawford has a lat strain and won't throw 3 to 4 weeks. Wow, that's pretty much all of spring training. I think that's pretty much all of spring training, isn't it? So he was a non-roster invitee, but it looks like you're not going to see much about him. Kai Wei Ting will miss at least 2 to 3 weeks with an oblique strain already. Man, lat strains and oblique strains, and spring training just began. Kai Tang, I don't know where he might be a bullpen guy. I don't know. He had some success in the minor leagues, but yeah, it looks like we're not going to see much of those guys. Injuries, right? If that happens, but not usually in the beginning. The Amir Garrett deal is official. He's in camp as a non-roster invitee. He'll compete to be a lefty in the bullpen alongside Taylor Rogers. Scott Alexander, who was that role last 2 years, is now over in Oakland. Okay, we already talked about this Reggie Crawford. Alex Cobb said his hip feels great and he hopes to be cleared to throw off a mound soon. The goal is to face hitters by the end of camp and go from there. That's wow. He hasn't even thrown, but he hopes to be throwing to face hitters by the end. Oh, I don't know. Seems a little bit quick. Hey, what's up, Lou? Just got back from Vegas and the Super Bowl. Oh man, that must have been time. I'm sure you had a good time over there, but man, that was a tough game. Soler, what did you think? Yeah, we like the signing, but it can't stop there. That's the issue we have, Lou, is that you just cannot get Soler and then stop. You're gonna have to get at least another bat, right? What's up, PK? Yeah, that sucked out. I talked a little bit about that in the beginning, about what happened in KC. That's tough. Let's see. Grand Admiral says, at least we'll have Lee and Estrada every day and Soler in cleanup. Sucks their 3-hole as a platoon. I hear you. What's up, Matthew? Yeah, just doing a solo. Dan may join in a little bit later. He's watching the Warriors, so taking a little bit of time off. He may join us. But yeah, back to your point, Grand Admiral. I want them to get another bat. Come on, guys. Can we? I know Chapman's out there. I heard it on the radio that, he would be a good fit for the Giants, of course. I don't know, man. I really don't like that. Honestly, I'd rather, if you're going to go get a bat, why not just get Bellinger? I know a lot of people don't like Bellinger. I get it. I understand. But he is younger, and I think he's a little bit more versatile. And I think his bat will play better than Chapman. As you remember, you're not only going to play 81 games at home, but you're going to be playing 81 games away as well. I know, but you don't want to block the young guys in the outfield. I mean, I don't know. Play him at first base. You're talking about how you want to be able to have some depth at first base. Well, there's your depth. I mean, isn't Cody Bellinger a first baseman / outfielder? Yes, Mike. I would like that. Lee, Estrada, Bellinger, and Soler. That is a good 1 through 5. I agree with you. And I think that's something that has been lacking with the Giants here for a while, is who's been the 1 through 5? I mean, you have to roll the dice because you never knew. It was always changing, and it was fluctuating, and it wasn't really a strong 1 through 5. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Wade was a decent leadoff hitter. He'd take pitches. He'd work the count. He had some pop. So it wasn't all that bad, but man, we need some stability, right? 1 through 5, or at least 1 through 4, some stability. I see a lot of Adames talk. I see you, Don. Adames to San Francisco feels realistic with JD and Conforto on the move. Maybe we can snag Yelich in a deal. I don't know, man. I heard Adames's defense isn't that great. I heard it's not all that great. And, as far as shortstop is concerned, you need to have that shortstop locked down. Now, the question is still out on how Luciano is going to field at shortstop. We don't know. He's going to get a long look. I don't know how that's going to work out. I know that the Giants had picked up that kid Odo. What was his last name? I can't remember off the top of my head. But supposedly he's got some pretty good hands. Marty was talking about it last night on our show. It was a great interview, by the way. Go check it out. Marty was with us last night. Yeah, see, exactly. That's what I'm saying, Grand Animal. I think we could do better. I think we could do better than Adames at shortstop, right? Man, I'm trying to think of what else could be done out there as far as a trade. I I mean, you got, like I said, you still got free agents out there. Kim can be signed next winter. Yeah. You have to trust the process. Okay, Johnny. The problem is the process isn't quite working that well, right? Would you agree? The process really has been broken. To be kind, the process has been broken. And things need to change. So we'll see what happens. Did Farhan learn from his mistakes? I don't know. I have no idea. Haven't heard. Yeah, that's a good point, Don. I have heard no news on Snell. I think the last thing that we really heard was he turned down. There was some action or some traction going on between Snell and the Yankees. That was about a month ago, though. I don't know what happened with that. Loose. Most importantly, did we get a new strength and conditioning coach? Yeah, good point. I mean, there was a lot of hamstrings and just muscular injuries last year, right? Yeah, that's not a good trend, and it's not starting out too well. I mean, these are young guys. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, you don't want to see these non-roster invitees come in and straight for having a lat muscle and an oblique. Obliques can be nasty. They're just like hamstrings. When you pull an oblique, it takes a long time to recover from, and you don't want to come back. You don't want to come back too soon. Matthew, is it possible to convert Chapman to a shortstop? I think he might be able to do it. He leads all of baseball over the past 5 years with 92 defense runs saved on the left hand. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like what Marty said yesterday. He keeping him at third can kind of maybe give some stability to Luciano, who's going to be at shortstop. I like that idea. There may be some validity to that. Luciano may even move to third. Who knows? But yeah, Dance is agreed. Yeah, he's played 110 games at shortstop since 2022. He's not built to play a full season there. He's a little bit lanky to be at shortstop, right? Just a little bit, maybe. I don't know. Maybe he's destined to be in the outfield somewhere. Maybe. But I like that idea of getting Kim next year. That would be really nice. There's going to be a lot of free agents next year, but we know how the Giants really work in the offseason. All right. Bellinger would be an awesome signing. Yes, he would. Yes, he would. Oh, hold on 1 second. All right. Get Bellinger and Kim next year? Yeah. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Luciano should have trained with Matos. I mean, the only thing is, I think Luciano, that guy, he's kind of lanky. It's kind of, when you got those really long arms, it's kind of hard to get muscle on them. Don't get me wrong, you can, but it's just a little bit different. Matos, I think he's not quite as long-armed. You could use Bellinger at first base. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can move him around. You can move around to first base and all three outfield spots. But I don't know. Yeah, he's kind of tall. Absolutely. Yep. So let's see what happens. I mean, it's the first day of spring training. We don't know, there's expectations out there. We kind of talked about that yesterday, the hope of the season as spring comes upon us. Man, all we could do is hope. But I think there needs to be more done. Absolutely. There has to be. I think you got to get another starting pitcher and you got to get another bat. I don't know if I want to. There's question marks. Don't get in the starting rotation. Do I like Harrison? Absolutely. But we need to see what he has, right? We got to see a full season of Harrison. There's a lot of hype, but we know how that works, right? I try to keep things in perspective, right? we've had a lot of pitchers like this. We had Kyle Crick, we had Tyler Beatty. Who else do we have? What other big starting pitchers were up and coming and they thought was going to be huge? And it didn't really work out. The sky was the limit for these guys, and it didn't work out. The same could be the same for Harrison. We don't know. He's going to have to go out there and prove it. And we'll see how the full season, how he does. We get a whole body of work for a season. And we'll see what happens. Will Martinez, Tim Anderson. Oh, God. Would you say Tim Alderson? Okay. I got where you're going. Seth Corey was another one. Yep. Ty Block. He really wasn't like a hype. Crick and Tyler Beatty, those guys are hypes. Big time. They thought they were going to be something big. I don't know what happened to Seth Corey. Is he still around? I don't know. But again, when you rely on the young guys, it's a dual-edged sword, right? If they have success, that's great. But if they don't, well, you get ugly. We know you're going to expect out of Webb. Webb's going to give you what Webb's going to give you. He's going to be excellent. Like I said, Harrison, we'll see what he's got. Hicks, as a starting pitcher, man, come on. I don't understand. I don't understand the reasoning of making him a starting pitcher. I think that could be a mistake. Again, could be totally off. But just from seeing what he's done as a starting pitcher, it doesn't bode well. He's had some success as a reliever, but as a starting pitcher, I think they're making a mistake. That's where I think that you can make a move for to go get a Snell or a Montgomery. Don't know if you're going to be able to trade for a starting pitcher, to be honest with you, at this stage. It's not impossible, but why not? I mean, Snell's out there. I mean, maybe their prices are coming down. I don't know. Montgomery, of course, would probably be cheaper than Snell. So if you get a solid, I mean, Montgomery's a solid 3, right? Oh, you did? Okay, I'll have to check that out, PK. But yeah, I think Montgomery's a solid 3. Could he play at a number 2? I'm sure he could. He was Texas's number 1 during the well, no, I would say he's probably number 2. Evaldi was probably the Texas's number 1 during the World Series. But we need that one more. I mean, then you got Winenbeck. They may have success, but last year, I keep harping on this. Last year was an opportunity to really lengthen them out to see what you got. But when you keep throwing them out there for only 3 or 4 innings and then you're call it a day, you're not building up any type of endurance or durability, right? So then when it comes to the following year here in 2024, are they going to be able to throw 140 innings? I don't know. Maybe they can. Maybe they had a good offseason, but we'll see what happens. Wins supposedly he's got an excellent splitter. Beck has been a decent pitcher, but we'll see what they got. It sounds like they're gonna get their chance, but I just don't want to look. You're having to rely on. Listen to this, guys. As the starting rotation currently stands with Webb, Harrison, or we'll say Webb, Hicks, Harrison, Winenbeck. Out of the 5, you got 3 rookies. Well, young pitchers. Harrison's a rookie. Winenbeck, they got a couple of years, but they haven't done a whole season. That's what I'm trying to say. So there could be some question marks out there. That's why I say go out there and go get a Snell. Why not? It's only money, right? And go get a bat. Bellinger greater than Hoskins? I think so. He's younger. More he's a lot more athletic. He's going to steal you bags. He's going to hit for somewhat average. He's going to hit for some power. Why not? The Giants need it, but the thing is does the player want to come here? That's the problem. I think that's probably the biggest issue is, do players want to come to the San Francisco Giants as currently constructed? Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. There could be, I mean, we've talked about the different obstacles in trying to sign a free agent here in San Francisco. Everything from maybe how the team is built, to the area, to the climate. I mean, there's so many different things out there. Mostly, they don't. Yeah. See, and that's going to be difficult. You know, if you don't get a lot of innings from your rookies, where are you going to make that up at? Chase Broberg, haven't seen you in the chat before, but welcome. I appreciate you joining. How would you rank the overall offseason? With the Soler signing? C plus, somewhere around there. We don't know what's going to happen with Ray. Okay, he's coming off of Tommy John. I like that we got him. Don't get me wrong, because he's got the potential, but he is coming off Tommy John, so we don't know what to expect. This year, I think is going to be a wash for him. When you're coming back for Tommy John, that's that first year coming back off Tommy John is usually you're not going to be at the height of your powers. A year after, then after you do a season, so 2 years after Tommy John, now you're kind of back to form. So 2025 is going to be the key season for Ray, I think. I don't expect a lot to come out of him from 2024. Same thing with Cobb, to be honest with you. I know he says he feels good. Everyone says that in spring training. I feel great. This is the best I've ever felt. That's the storyline every year. But you're 35 years old. You're coming off of a hip surgery. That's tough. It's tough to recover from that. And I don't know if he's going to be like how he was before. We'll see. Chris Addy. What's up, Chris? Haven't seen you in here before, but welcome. I don't want Chapman. If you compare numbers to JD Davis, he's not much of a difference. I don't see giving Chapman 4/100. Better to spend money on Bellinger. Then I would sign Ryu or Clevenger. Hey, you know what? I like what you're saying there, Chris. I like that. We talked about that on this very show. You got JD Davis and you got Casey Schmidt, who could do a good job at third base. JD Davis' defense last year was pretty decent, right? And his bat was great in the first half of the season. Then I think he started getting wore down a little bit. That's why if you do that whole load management thing and you get Casey Schmidt and JD Davis, because next year I think JD Davis is going to be gone anyways, and then Casey Schmidt can step right in for that spot, right? I mean, he's supposed to be the future third baseman. And I agree. Why spend that money on Chapman when you could go spend it elsewhere on a better player? Come on, guys. Bellinger is a better player than Chapman, right? Right. Overall, I'm not just talking. Look, yes, I understand each have their own, Bellinger probably has a little bit better, but his defense isn't bad either, though. I mean, he's not like gold glove level as Chapman is at third, but come on, right? That makes sense. Go get out that guy. I mean, Bellinger's only 28 years old. Go get him. Go get him. And then next year, you don't even have to. Hey, Chris, you don't even have to save it because next year they're going to have so much money coming off the books. You could offer the moon to Soto. But the key is, I don't know if Soto wants to come back to the West Coast. I really don't. I don't see that. I don't see that. But no, yeah, I agree exactly with what you say. If you're going to spend that money, spend it on Bellinger. Why not? Why not? Because you're already paying JD Davis. Come on, man. That's right, Los. Yeah. There you go. Come on, man. If you're going to spend the money, spend it on Bellinger. I 100% agree. Like I said, you're going to pay JD Davis $7 million for the most part. So you got to play him unless you trade him. So play him at third base. What's up? Like, hey, Los, if you want to come in, I could send you the link. I'm just kind of going solo right now. Just talking about the first day of spring training here. Bellinger, yeah. See, why not? Yes, Mike. He's only 28 and he's technically entering his prime. Look, did he have a couple of down years? Absolutely. The guy had a bad shoulder. Well, that's what happens when you're a baseball player, right? You don't want to sit. All right, cool. You don't want to sit, right? You don't want to sit. You want to be out there and play, even though you may not feel good. Maybe you're not at 100%, but you want to go out there and contribute, even though it may not, be the be optimal. You still want to be able to go out there. Hold on one second, guys, while I do this, and go out there and play. And he suffered for 2 years. It was pretty bad. Where the heck did I put this? Stand by, guys. Yeah, I would much rather have Bellinger. Where is this? There we go. And there. Copy. Compose. Paste. Just give me a minute, guys, here while I get this done. And there we go. Cool. Let's see. What's up, Cliff? Bellinger is only a difference maker available. Sign Kim next year. You know what? Why not? All right. See, now we're talking. So this is what gets me excited about baseball. When there's ability to be able to do. Look, we're not talking about things that are out of the realm of possibility, right? You got the Giants have a wealth of money to be able to get these moves done. Look, are you going to exceed the CBT this year? You might, but you know what? You're putting together something, guys, right? You're putting something together because in 2025, you're going to save a lot of money. You're going to have players coming off the books. You got plenty of room to do some stuff here. So why not go sign Bellinger? And then you sign Kim next year as your shortstop. Okay. So now you got Okay. So you got, oh, hey, what's up? There he is. What's up, Los?
What's up, buddy? How's everything?
Not too bad. Just in here doing our daily Giant stuff.
Oh, I'm still recovering.
How you feeling, man? You recovered yet?
No, I'm pretty. I'm pretty upset, man.
I bet.
This was really, really bad. I've been actually arguing the last 48 hours with fellow 49er fans. You know how I feel about Shanahan, and he proved me right once again. Even though I thought, he's going to do it right this time. He's going to make good decisions this time, and he didn't again. So I went off, and a lot of people that love Shanahan and worship him and pray to the ground that he walks on, are telling me this and telling me that. So I've been actually having some civil wars with fellow Niner fans about Shanahan and moving forward. But that's that, man. That's that.
It's baseball season now, right? How about that?
Need some therapy, even if it is Giants baseball.
Yeah.
They got a little bit better with Soler, so that's a start.
Yeah. What did you think of that? Let's get your.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
But it can't stop there, right?
That's a middle of the order bat, and they need it. And he's a run producer.
Can't stop, right?
He's a guy that can actually hit the ball out of the ballpark in a ballpark that we talked about is good for right-handed power, not left-handed power. So that's a start. They could use another starting pitcher, and one more at bat in the lineup. And I think, okay, let's rock. Let's do it.
You know what? And if Soler can hit him out of the park in Miami, which is huge.
Yeah.
You could do it in Oracle. The only difference is, the climate, of course, is a little bit different. But you look, why not go out there and get Bellinger, right? Instead of spending all that money on Chapman. Granted, Chapman's still going to be cheaper than Bellinger, but use that $100 million towards a better player who's in his prime.
Yeah. We don't want Chapman on here.
No. Why? When you got JD Davis, you got to pay him $7 million, right?
That's just a waste of $16 to $18 million that can go in much better places than that. Much better.
Right. And you got to think about that, and people talk about how Bellinger, had some bad years. He did. But when you're playing through injury, you're not going to perform at your highest level. It's just not going to happen. And last year, it came together. That's who Bellinger is, right? Closer to his MVP type ability. And he probably could reach that if he wanted to. Yeah. It's possible.
What do you think the lineup looks like right now if they made no more changes? What would it look like?
Oh, it's going to be, Lee.
Estrada.
Lee, Estrada,
Who's your
Soler?
I was going to say Soler. Is he a 3-hitter or is he a 4-hitter?
I think he's going to be 3 because if you think about it, you get him up every because you know what I'm saying the first 3 guys have a little bit more at bats. Then the further down you go into the lineup, you have less at bats, right? If I'm not mistaken.
If they keep Conforto, you know, he wouldn't be bad hitting 3 with Soler behind him because, you know, I always say you got to have balance in a lineup. You can get this guy as a free agent, but if there's nobody hitting behind him, it's like he's not going to see any pitches to hit. If Conforto has Soler hitting behind him, he might get pitches to hit. And Conforto can be a pretty decent player. So, I mean, who else would you put at the 3 spot that has a little bit of pop?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't put Bailey in there. You know.
Just for a 1 through 4. How about a Lee, Estrada, Bellinger, Soler?
Oh, Bellinger would be, no doubt. Oh, that's a nice first 4 in the lineup.
Can you imagine? Because Bellinger's got speed, so he could get on base and do some damage. I'm pretty sure Lee and Estrada was our best run stealer last year, right? He was the best guy on the team for steals. There you go.
That starting pitching staff behind Webb, though, right now, I know the second half of the season looks good, but if you're 25 games out of first place, then what good is it by the All-Star break? You know, they're going to be trading people again, or maybe they won't again.
Exactly.
You know, we're going to be talking in July. It's like, oh, okay, they're way down here. Who can they trade? Oops, no, they're not going to trade again. So
exactly.
Yeah, but no, I mean it's promising. I really like the Soler pickup. Wondering why it took so long, but hey, whatever.
Supposedly there was a report come out that night that he signed. He was looking for that 3rd year. No one else was giving him that 3rd year, and the Giants gave it to him. But it's cheap. I think it's like only $42 million over 3 years. So I mean
I like the 3-year deal.
Good,
for,
right?
For once, it's not a 2-year deal with an option after 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Gosh, that would be so awesome. And the Giants could do it. That's what's so frustrating. We could see it. They could go do it. If you exceed that CBT for 1 year, big whoop. You only play you only pay the tax on the amount that you go over. So if they only go over 5 million or 10 million, you pay on the tax on that 5 or 10 million.
Yeah.
Not the whole thing. And it's why not go get Snell or even Montgomery?
If a few of these young guys step up as far as starting pitching goes, if Black or Harrison really start coming of age, we could have a little something. Yeah. I still don't know what to think about Jordan Hicks. I know. You know, that's a huge question mark. I think for 3-4 innings, he's going to be nasty, but he's not a starter.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Put him in a bullpen where he succeeded. Set him up for success, right? Put him in a bullpen where he can be lights out with him and Doval. That would be incredible. And then go get a Montgomery or Snell. And then you got Webb and either Montgomery and Snell, and then Harrison, and then Winenbeck.
You want to talk about messing up people's timing? You have Jordan Hicks throw for like 3 innings, like be that bridge guy between the starter and the closer. So you bring in Hicks for like 3 innings, throwing 102, 103, and then you bring in side armor, you know.
Tyler.
I mean, the hitters are going to be like, holy crap. I went from like that nasty stuff over the top to side armor throwing these Frisbee sliders and change ups and all that stuff. And that's what pitching is all about, is messing up timing of hitters. So, it's amazing how one big bat in the lineup brings a little bit of optimism. Because I'm telling you, they were on the way to fighting for last place if they didn't get him. So a little bit of optimism, and it took us 5 months to celebrate anybody signing. I mean, other than Lee. But we'll see. We shall see.
Grist Leeser, what's up? I think I've seen you in a chat before. Welcome. He says the Johnsons don't want to pay any money for players that don't guarantee any extra fans at the home games. It's why Farham seems to only go in and fail with the top 2 free agents every offseason. You know, you may not be wrong.
Yeah.
You may not be wrong.
That's a solid point.
That is. And did you see the Giants signed another guy for another reliever, Austin Warren. And guess what? Guess what he had last year?
An injury.
Tommy John. Hey, I'm like, how can you do that, Farhan?
I swear, when you look up the definition of a player to be named later, the San Francisco Giants picture logo will show up. It's like, we don't know who this guy is, man.
How many times has he signed a pitcher that has just recovered from Tommy John? Luke Jackson, Brebbia, we just picked up or traded for Robbie Ray. Now you got this kid, San Francisco Tommy Johns. Exactly. I love it. The San Francisco Tommy Johns. Has a nice ring to it.
Where's Danny tonight?
He's just taking a day. I think he's going to do a Warriors post game with Ryan on his channel, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, nice little crossover.
Yeah, a little. And the Warriors are playing good.
Yeah, they're playing well. They're getting a little bit settled with their roster, and some guys are healthy, and definitely something to look forward to towards the back end of the year. I heard they were trying to trade for LeBron. Wow, that came out of nowhere.
Who did?
The Warriors supposedly tried to trade for LeBron James at the trade deadline.
What?
Yeah, him and Draymond Green have the same agent. Draymond kind of threw it out there, and they didn't say who they offered, but they did make a call to the Lakers, and the Lakers said no. So that would have blown up the internet if LeBron.
Yeah, I think everything would have come crashing down with that.
Ooh, Lord. Yeah, that would have been nuts.
That would have been incredible.
Yeah. So,
especially, well, it depends. They probably would they have had to give up Kuminga?
Yeah, they probably. Yeah, they wouldn't have. They probably offered a trade, Eric, and didn't offer Kuminga, and that's when the Lakers hung up.
Yeah.
If you're going to even think about getting LeBron, then it starts with Kuminga and then about 4 other guys. But yeah, LeBron, as great as he is, he's got another year or 2 at most. So that would be one of those, swipe the credit card and put up the debt and just go all in for one more championship this year instead of long term. So yeah, I'm glad they didn't do it. I could not see myself rooting for LeBron. That'd be tough.
It's possible. It's amazing what a player will do when it's a walk year. No doubt about it.
Yeah,
and it's possible. That is very possible. Chris is coming with some really good thoughts here. I like it.
Yeah, I like Conforto to bounce back this year and be pretty solid.
Yep,
very much so.
He's coming in with this. Who knows how many years LeBron still has left with all the PED usage? No, that doesn't happen in the NBA, right?
Well, pitchers and catchers, I think, reported today or tomorrow.
Yeah, they did. Conforto will get hurt. You know what? There's some truth to that too, Mark. Absolutely. Gosh.
Yeah, every spring training, there's always, between 2 or 4 guys that really kind of come out of nowhere that you least expect, that isn't on anybody's radar. And you can expect that. The guy I'm going to be looking out a little bit for that kind of impressed me towards the end of last year was Fitzgerald. Just kind of one of those swing guys that can play outfield. He can play short. He can play second. He can play third. I liked his swing. So, eager to kind of see what he can bring to the table. Matos and his extra 15 pounds that we illustrated last month.
Yeah, we'll see.
Is it fat or is it bulk? And let's see how it plays for power.
Right, right.
Is it going to hurt his speed? These are all the questions that we have coming in. Is Kyle Harrison going to step up? Is Mason Black going to step up when nobody's talking about him? Is Whisenhunt recovered from his injury? Is he going to be part of training camp? Because the more I read about him, the more they say like his changeup is lights out. Like it's
that's what I've heard. But he's got to command it. That's the problem.
He's got to command it.
Grizz, speaking of PEDs, I know you're going, buddy. I know you're going. Dark Reaper, I'm sorry. I am sorry. It's tough to be an A's fan. It's tough. But hey,
somebody's wanting us to talk about the A's. Can anybody out there name 4 A's players off the top of their head without Googling? 4.
Where are they going to play? It sounds like they may not be going to Arizona or Las Vegas.
Ooh, that's pretty rough.
Yeah,
I don't know about an organization when Las Vegas is blowing up right now as a sports town, and they go, "Yeah, you can kind of stay where you're at."
Oh, he's talking about Eric Chavez. Gotcha. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh, there was something. What did I want to see? Matos is looking like the panda. We'll see. I hope not.
If he does, he's going to lose his roster spot.
Exactly. Oh, but back to your point with Fitzgerald. Yeah, he came up. He looked like he had something, but is there a spot for him on the roster right now? I don't
know.
Tough.
He's going to be fighting it out with Ramos and Matos, and
because it's already right now. It's Conforto on left, Lee in center, unless his arm, and that's something that Dan has brought up is can his arm play at center? We'll see. If not, then, you could swap those. Well, you can't swap those two. You could put Yaz in center, but Yaz will probably be your right fielder.
I have a feeling either Yaz or Slater are going to get moved before the season starts. Maybe even just outright cut. And if out of the two of them, I would keep Yaz over Slater all day.
No kidding. I did not see that, Matthew. Thank you. Ace started negotiations with Oakland for the Coliseum today for the 25 to 27 season. So that's another, 3 years? Wow.
I would like Oakland to keep one team, but the city hasn't really done anything for their teams and stadiums, and that's in today's age, that's what it takes.
There's a lot of obstacles for Oakland. It's how the state is. It's how the city is. It's how the owner is. All three of them together is not exactly a recipe for success.
So I was in the Bay Area, Eric, for 5 days. I flew into SAC and then I flew back last night.
Oh, you were here when it's beautiful.
Yeah, it was nice. But when I flew over SAC and I looked down, man, there was a lot of water on the ground. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
You guys got pounded by rain, and it was.
Yes, we did, and the wind too. Whew.
Yeah, but it held up while I was there.
Good. Oh, did you see a lot of snow in the mountains? I bet when you were flying over.
Ooh, I took a couple pictures. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tons. It was white as can be.
Yeah. Beautiful. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Beautiful sight. I think on the way back, I went over Galt and I flipped you a bird. What's up, E?
That's awesome.
I was looking at the flight tracker and I was like, oh, I'm going over Eric right now.
I'm flying, because of the air travel. Actually, flying in, they're flying really low. But when you're flying out, I think you go off a little bit more to the east. That's cool. Now, what do we got in here?
I'm telling you, if you guys fly, if you're open-minded to fly on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, planes are half full.
Half full, yep.
Yeah, you try to avoid Fridays and Sundays and Mondays if you can. But Tuesdays and Wednesdays are beautiful days to fly. Like
nice.
Had the whole road to myself, just almost laid down. It was nice.
Wow. I saw you got the meet up with Baller too, right?
I met Baller and Ryan Hensley.
Oh, you did? Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I met Ryan in Sacramento. Hey, he's a big dude. He's like 6'3". I'm 6'2", so he's bigger than me. And we chopped it up. We had a good conversation, had lunch, talked about a whole bunch of things. And
did you guys hang out at Old Sac or?
Yeah, I met him in Citrus Heights.
Oh, Citrus Heights. Okay, nice.
Yeah. He stays up in the Rockland area. And we had a good chat. And then I drove down to Walnut Creek to meet up some friends. And Baller lives in Walnut Creek. Well, he was on a football show last week. And
exactly.
I texted him and he came out and he's a lefty playing pool. So me and him had some good pool battles and he got
Who won?
He won.
Did he? Okay.
Pool's not my best game, but there was a ping pong table and I am good at that, but nobody won.
Oh, dude, you want to talk about some ping pong? I could play some ping pong.
I got some hand-eye coordination for ping pong. I'm better at ping pong. Pool I'm okay at, so yeah. So we gotta play sometime, Eric.
Oh, no doubt. I love ping pong, man.
Hey, it's funny how you work up a little sweat when you play ping pong.
You will.
when you're going back and forth and you're like, oh, I gotta get to that, and you gotta go to 21, and you play, you win, and you keep playing, and you're into game 2. I'm like, damn, I lost 3 pounds playing ping
It's
pong.
a workout, man. I love ping pong.
Yeah,
I learned in the Air Force. Yeah, man, that was fun. Played doubles. Whoo.
Yeah, it's an old school billiards place that had pool tables, ping pong tables, and darts.
Darts. Okay.
Yeah. So old school. Really cool spot.
Absolutely. Let's see what else we got here. And oh yeah, senior. He's on it. Bring baseball to SAC. I brought this idea up. I sent it to you. Hey, look at this. Oh no.
Hey,
I would guarantee I would win. You ain't beating me in ping pong, Dan. Nope.
Dan, if you got a ping pong table, I'll drive up there and I can get my money back from that Red Sox Giants bet last year. I'll definitely get my money back for sure. You better get some cardio in because I'm gonna run you side to side.
Yeah, exactly. I could put so much spin on that ball, man.
So who does the chat think would win in a 3-way tournament between Eric, Los?
Oh, here we go.
Ping pong.
Let's go. Chat. You know what? It's a poll time. Dan loves to do polls.
Put a poll out. When it comes to ping pong, who do you have? Game up to 21. Los versus Eric versus the great Dan Cochimilio.
Here we go.
Man, if I don't get this vote, I'm disappointed in you guys, man. Come on now. Just
I'm gonna say, who is the ping pong king? Let's see.
Benji, you're asking me if I was a fan of James Paxton. I like James Paxton from the standpoint of I had him for a few months in fantasy last year, and he did real well for me. He always seemed to give me 5 to 7 innings and gave up 2 to 3 runs, and struck out a lot of people. So I know he's not a top pitcher, a 5-star pitcher, but I thought he would be a solid 3-4, which at that point the Giants would take him. Solid veteran. Chase, good man.
Okay, let's see where this is at right now. I got it out there. Oh, Los is at 50. Oh,
is Dan bringing up the rear?
Dan's bringing up the rear.
See, Dan?
Close. It's close. Dan, Dan, he's logging on to his 10 different IDs. Oh, here he comes. He has been summoned.
Hey, take your poll and stick it. I'll tell you what. I played every week the last couple years. On Sunday afternoons, I grew up playing with a ping pong table with 2 older brothers, and I was competitive to beat them. I'm not even going to stay in here and take this crap. I'm going back to the Warrior game. I just wanted to come in here and tell you, you have no chance, Eric. No chance.
You're rusty. Me and you, Dan.
I'm out.
See, me and Dan will go to a spring training game, and we'll find a ping pong table, and I'll put the camera up, and I'll have a video, not live, but I'll video it, and we'll let Eric upload it, and we'll see.
Oh man,
Dan may have good hand-eye coordination. I trust him to have that, but let's see how his cardio is, because you're going to go side to side with me.
That's exactly how I play.
Yeah,
and I can slam, and I can defend the slam. I played every day for years, every day, lunchtime, man. God, I played some guys that were so competitive. Guys would be just chucking their paddles. Oh, and there goes the paddle, chucking halfway across the shop. Oh, man.
Michael Rotter says the hospital will win if we play. What are you saying, man?
That's pretty good.
Your boy goes to the gym. I'm in decent shape, so I'll be all right.
Oh, I know Dan. He's got a bad eye, so I'm good.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Find out, you find out your opponent's weakness and you attack it. So,
Exactly.
if Dan's like this, I'm attacking that other side. What? I couldn't see
You know
it.
what's so great too is you get that hard backhand, and then you soften it up so you're going deep, and then you got to come back in. Oh, I get you going back and forth and side to side. Love it.
Now,
We're sitting here talking ping pong.
Now, pool, Dan. I don't know. Do you play pool a lot, Eric?
No, just a little bit when I was.
See, I'm okay at pool. Like I'm average. Pretty good. I got to warm up, but as soon as Baller stepped up and I saw his form, I'm like, oh he can play. You could just know, the way he just like slam the ball. Oh, he can play. Now he was a little rusty because he had to warm up, and I had already been there an hour, but he still got me by a little. It was a close game, but it was fun.
One thing I can't play. I'm not very good at foosball. Never got into the foosball.
Oh, foosball, yeah.
Never got into that. Never got into that. Man, we could have like an Olympics. We could have ping pong and a game of horse, darts.
What about bowling?
Not so much. I think I would suck. Yeah, I'd probably suck.
Yeah, I bowled. I haven't bowled in a couple of years. I bowled a few weeks ago. And man, I used to be like 160, 170, pretty consistent. I was like at 118. I was missing easy spares. When you do something pretty decently and then you don't do it well, you got pride. It's like, oh
yeah, exactly.
God. And everybody's got cell phone cameras. So you're like,
then it's even worse.
Please, nobody video this. So
Daniel said, I got college.
Bowling is such a cool. It's so old school, but you want to go out with some friends and just have some drinks and just have a good time. Go right, and you can't go wrong with that. You can't go wrong with that. Sometimes the old school games are the best games. Ping pong is one, bowling is another.
Yep.
Else? Horseshoes? I don't do horseshoes.
Oh, horseshoes! That's fun. Horseshoes is fun.
I mean, what is the skill on that? You just, what is the skill?
Trying to get it around that damn metal pole. Badminton. Oh my God. That will get you going all over the place too. Cornhole. There you go.
When was the last time you went to a shooting range, and is there one by you in Galt?
Oh shoot! When's the last time I shot? God, I was in the Air Force. Damn.
Was it a 9mm?
I shot M16 and the 9mm. They call it the M9, but yeah, Beretta.
Yeah.
I got marksman on both, but yeah, it's been years.
It's been years. You miss it?
Oh, that would be fun. Yeah, I would love to go do that again.
How far is one by you?
I think there's one in Sacramento, if I'm not mistaken, off of Bradshaw. 50 in Bradshaw, I think there's one. Right? I would know. Right? Isn't there one out there off Bradshaw on the 50? Pretty sure there's one out there.
You should go, man. You should go. I bet you
I know. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I didn't like the M9. The handle was a little bit too wide, and I felt uncomfortable in my hand because all the rounds they're staggered, so it makes it for a bigger clip and a bigger handle. If they're straight up, then it's a little bit better.
Hey, Will B, me and you got to go to the shooting range. Let's see what you got.
All right, hey.
I'm calling Will B out. Trying to get revenge for fantasy football, dog.
Look at this. Cornhole, I'll whip you too. Neither of you have a chance on the basketball court and horse or one-on. Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Dan, stick with trivia. Stick with trivia, Dan, and you lose to me in that as well.
He's coming back in.
You know how big I am, Dan. If we played basketball, like I would just back you down low and I'd get layups every single time. So that's all right.
Hey, we forgot about good old miniature golf. We could have a showdown.
While we're at it, Dan, let's play some strikeouts. Get a tennis ball and a bat, and
there we go.
Find a schoolyard and let me see your 36-mile-an-hour fastball, and I'll deposit it over the fence.
Oh man!
Yeah, I love it.
Dan is getting schooled on his own show. He's finishing. See, we got him at a disadvantage. He's watching that Warriors game.
Yeah, it was a good game when I left it. I think they were up 7 or something.
Oh my gosh. Where's that poll? Well, I think you won, Los. Yeah. 49% for Los, 37 for me, 15% for Dan. Bring it.
Now that's going to motivate him. Being at 15%, this guy's going to find a ping pong place tomorrow and start practicing. He is. Hey, one thing I'll give Dan, he's competitive as hell.
He is.
He is not going to like to hear that.
That's what makes it so much fun, though.
Hey, Dan, you have a new number for your jersey, 15.
36 or 15.
15 for percent. So when you see Dan and me at a spring training game, I'll be wearing 49. He'll be wearing 15.
Oh, you just gave me an idea. I'm gonna have to make a little surprise with
a thumbnail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes 15 as in Mahomes. Look at that.
Hey, that's true.
Can't go wrong.
Hey, 15 beats 49 as in the 49ers.
Ooh, yeah, good point. Is that guy good or what, huh? You got to give credit to him, right? That guy is good.
Well, here's the thing about Mahomes is I know everybody likes to already crown him as the GOAT, and he played a good game. He didn't play a great game.
Right.
Kansas, the quarterback always gets the credit. The quarterback always gets the blame, just like the coach. Kansas City's defense won that Super Bowl. If we're going to be real, they won that game. They won that game partly because Shanahan did not do what he needed to do. But Kansas City's defense, they almost knew the Niners' plays. Their cornerbacks locked up Ayuk and locked up Debo. But you know what's so frustrating about that is I watched a video and an interview with Spagnuolo after the Super Bowl. They asked him, what was your game plan? And he said, well, we wanted to stop the run to McCaffrey, and we want to take away their wide receivers. And he said, well, what are you leaving open? He goes, well, we have to leave something open, so it's got to be the tight end. And you know what? Shanahan couldn't take advantage of it because he left the tight end, our all-pro tight end Kittle, he left him in the block. Why did he leave him in the block? Because the Niners don't ever address offensive line on the right side. So they needed their all-pro tight end who should have been going out on routes and taking advantage of their weakness on defense.
Right.
They left him in to block. Did you see Kittle's expression walking off that field? He was pissed that he wasn't involved in the game plan. I'm telling you, there are a lot of Niners that are upset with Kyle. They're not going to say it on camera, but they're very frustrated at the game plan and the way that game went down. They were the better team, and they didn't do it. This was the opportunity to beat the Chiefs, who didn't have a lot of weapons, and they couldn't get it done. So
and I said this on the show not that long ago, or 2 days ago, but you got to give a round of applause for Brock Purdy, right? The guy, he's the real deal. Look what he did in the Super Bowl. The brightest lights, right, on the biggest stage, and I thought he handled himself excellent. Not just his composure, but his gameplay too. The guy's going to go somewhere.
Hey, seniors got your back.
Yeah, I said. Did you see that one?
Hey, man, just because I lost a baller can play though. Like baller's like, man, really, really good in pool. And we're talking ping pong, senior. Not talking pool. I said I'm average in pool. Ping pong's a different story.
Yep.
Yeah, I would bet on me too. I think Eric and me would be a real good battle though.
That'd be a good battle. That'd be fun.
If Dan beats me, then I'll tip my hat. Definitely. I'm sure we will play. Like I said, Dan's going to find somewhere tomorrow and he's going to practice. I know him. He's too damn competitive. He's like, screw those guys.
Yeah.
Not losing to them. That's funny.
Cameron, hey, what's up, Cameron? Haven't seen you in a while. He says a B-. What would you give right now? Up to this point, what do you give the Giants offseason grades wise? I said after that Soler, I'd say probably a C to C plus, somewhere around there.
Yeah, they came off of some bad players and bad contracts.
They did.
So
but that was because of Farhan, though, too. I mean, we can't ignore.
Yeah, that's a little bit of. I like Lee. I've backed him from the very beginning. I thought he would be a pretty decent player. I really like Soler. Yeah, I give him a C plus.
Yeah.
If they had gotten maybe another healthy starting pitching, then we'd get him in the Bs. So hey,
Right.
for Farhan and what we've been, busting his balls for the last 4 months, hey, take that C plus and enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
I know.
Because we had your grade the same first letter as your name.
Yeah, exactly. Because nothing was going on. It was looking bad.
Nothing.
Bad. Yeah, a lot of people saying I'm seeing B, B minus, C, C plus. Yep. I think we're all pretty much there's some consensus there.
That's fair. And maybe there'll be one more last minute move. Who else is out there? Like, I haven't really been tracking.
Bellinger, Snell, Montgomery, Chapman, Tim Anderson.
Why is Bellinger and Snell still out there? What are they waiting for?
I think the only thing I could think of is they're not getting what they thought they were going to get.
The price is going to go down. They're waiting for somebody to get hurt in spring training and some panicky GM to call. Are they both Boris guys?
Yep.
Fucking Boris.
That's the only thing. Yeah, I know. I understand that he's trying to do the best for his player, but as far as, the game is concerned, it's like, man, it makes this offseason look rough. So I mean, for all of baseball.
If Webb is our ace, is Hicks already elevated to our number 2 starter? No.
Yep. Supposedly, I guess Farhan came out and said that. That's I think a mistake. I think it's a mistake.
Do we have any lefties in our rotation besides Harrison?
No. That's it.
Snell.
Get Snell, right? Then you get 2 lefties and you have 3 righties. And then move Hicks over in the bullpen. Damn. You're paying them reliever money anyway, so it's not like you're wasting money of putting him in the pen. Gosh.
The rotation to me is the difference between them being just a nothing team, a 4th place team, even with Soler, maybe 3rd place. If they get any kind of starting, because we know their bullpen is really solid. If they get any kind of starting pitching at all, then they could be pushing towards 500 or better. But that's going to be the key to the season, because the starting pitching is just unknown. The lineup is average right now, a little bit above average with Soler. But again, there's how many guys in the lineups can we honestly say, oh, that's a lock, that's a sure thing? Nobody. Like, I like Lee, but we don't know what he's going to do. He might not be able to hit major league pitching right away.
Yeah, we don't know. Yeah, right.
It might take him a year or 2. Estrada, okay, he's solid. He's not a superstar, but he's a good player. Conforto, when he's healthy, he's a pretty good player. Luciano, we have no idea what Luciano can do at the major league level.
No idea.
We don't know if his back's going to hold up for 1 week. We don't. Bailey, we know he can catch. We know he can frame. Can he hit in 115-20 game? We don't need him to hit a lot, but I mean, you got to do something. Casey, if he's the 3rd baseman, is Casey going to step up and make some adjustments and be a decent hitter? We don't know.
Exactly.
Is Yaz going to continue to regress and hit in 220, 230 range at best? Oh, but he's got a great glove. No, we're talking about the lineup and hitters and scoring runs. Like, there's like one guy in our lineup that we know, 2 guys, Estrada and Soler. Am I missing anybody? Those are the for sure guys. If JD Davis plays, he can hit a little bit, but where's he going to play? Is he going to be our 3rd baseman, our 1st baseman? Who's going to be our 1st baseman? Is it going to be Lamont Wade again?
Yeah, I think so. That's why I'm saying get Bellinger, because then you can put him out there.
Man, I like Lamont Wade, but not as my everyday 1st baseman.
Check this out.
Can Tyler Fitzgerald play 1st base? Warriors lost? Oh, man. Damn.
Did they really? Wow.
Man.
Hold on. Before here, let me share this real quick and then we'll get in. Hold on. I see something in there. Frosty says Hicks is here because he wants to start. I get it. He wants to start. Okay. That's fantastic. Does it mean he can start? Does it mean he's going to be a starter? Does it mean he can function as a starter? That's a different question. There's a difference between what he wants and where he can perform and succeed. I'm saying, why mess with something that isn't broken? And he's decent in the bullpen. He hasn't shown that he can be a good starting pitcher, but he can't succeed in the bullpen. That's where I'm talking. All right, here, let's take a look at this real quick before I get into what Chris said there. This is Jorge Soler, Game 6 of the 2021 World Series. I'm not going to have no sound. Check out this guy. You know who he swings at? I said this with Dan the other night. Doesn't he have that Giancarlo Stanton swing? It's all or nothing. Look at oh my God.
If you make a mistake to Soler, especially up,
look at this. Boosh.
He does not miss that pitch. And
God, he hit it out. He hit it over the railroad tracks.
I swear, if you watch the Giants play every day, like we do, you see a lot of pitches right down the middle that are considered, and they're not 98, 97. They're like very hittable 91, 92 mile an hour fastballs right down the middle. We didn't have guys that made pitchers, punish them for mistakes.
Exactly.
Right. If you throw that over the plate to Soler, that's he's going to hit it hard.
And you know what? I like that point that you make, because that happened a lot last season where we were taking horrible called strike threes. You're like, what are you doing?
They were like looking for a certain pitch instead of when you have 2 strikes, you're up there protecting the plate.
What was it? Tunneling or something? That's, I guess, the new thing that they're talking about. Now, I don't know if that has anything to do with, the way that they're approaching. And I honestly, I don't know enough about hitting to know if tunneling is the way to go, but yeah. Chris Addy says it was reported today on the Yes Network that Snell turned down 5 years for 150 with the Yankees.
Wow.
I think Dan was talking about 6 years, 180, right? No, 168. Think he would turn that down?
I don't know. Hard to say. What is he, 31, 32?
31. I mean, you'll probably get a decent 4 years out of him, I'm thinking, right?
Yeah. I would love nobody to give him even 5 or 150 and the season starts and he has to take 3 years and 90 million instead. And these players they bet on themselves, and most of the time they win because most of the GMs, crack and they give in. What's up, 15?
I'm pissed off. Blew it. Got it.
How did they blow it?
They Clippers got 44 points in the fourth quarter.
Oh, sheesh.
Yeah, they lost by 5. The Warriors were up by 7 going in. They should have been up
44.
They blew it at the end of the third quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, there was a little altercation. Ty Lue got tossed, and the Clippers just got busy.
I like Chris, what he's saying. I'm scared of signing starting pitchers a few weeks after spring training starts. They often never catch up and always seem to get hurt.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's a valid point. Man, Chris, this guy's coming. You need to join more often, buddy. I like that. That's good.
So
what do you think, Dan? He just said it was reported on the Yes Network that Snell turned down 5 years, 150.
Yeah, I heard that. I think, you know what? I don't think he's going to get a whole lot more. I think he ends up with the Yankees. And he'll come back to the Yankees, and it'll probably be 5 years, 160, 165, and he'll settle at that.
Gotcha.
So I don't think the Giants are after him. I don't think the Giants are in on Bellinger. I think the shortstop they picked up from Toronto for cash is their backup shortstop. If just to have in the organization. They got Fitzgerald. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what the Giants are what their plans are. Chapman wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole unless you can get out of it after 2 years. I wouldn't, I mean, I don't even like it at all. I would put, if you're going to spend $20 million a year, whatever it takes, you should be putting that money to Bellinger and playing Schmidt or
Yes.
Davis and trade Davis. It's a net. You trade Davis and his $7 million salary, and you sign Bellinger for say 24. You're 24 minus 7.
17.
That's 17, and that's this 20 that you would have paid to get Chapman. Oh yeah, you could say, well, we'll trade Davis and that way, but you're getting them. You've already got a third baseman.
I saw the thumbnail guys with Marty, but I didn't watch any of the show. Did you ask him about Chapman, whether he liked the signing or not?
He was favorable of Chapman, I think.
If it's lower years and not long term, right?
Oh, okay.
We got a
from Robert.
Super chat. Thank you, Robert. Sorry I haven't been around. I've been dealing with some serious depression after losing my sister. Man, that's tough.
Yeah.
I'm doing better now. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, sorry about
hang in
that,
there, brother. It's not
difficult
easy at all, but hey, we're here for you.
Hey, look what we got for the new show here. Come here, Lola. Come here. Show everybody who you are.
Oh, a new pup? Oh no, you got a new pup?
No, this is my client's dog. He's in the hospital, so I'm just
beautiful dog.
Yeah, it's an Australian Shepherd.
Oh, smart as a whip then.
Yeah, so hi Lola. Say hi Lola, you're now a star.
Nice.
She's a sweet dog.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
How's your friend doing? Is he doing okay? Or is it just
had surgery today and had kidney removed, and the last I talked to his wife, he was in recovery, but he hadn't woke up yet. So I don't know hopefully he's going to be okay.
There's a song by one of
Dan's
favorite artists, Barry Manilow, called Her Name Was Lola.
Yeah. I know.
Oh, yeah.
I kid that to my wife because she's a Lola because we have grandchildren, and Lola in
Tagalog is
in Filipino is Lola is grandma. Right. Yeah.
You gotta find that song and play it for her.
Yeah. That dog's a Aussie Shepherd with a little bit of healer in her. Yeah, it's super fast, man. The back.
I bet.
Man. Yeah. So I heard you guys talking some smack.
Yep.
Some ping pong, horse.
I know you Googled ping pong on your phone to find a place, and I know you're going to start.
Well, I thought you were going to say Googled ping pong to see what the game's about.
Oh no. I'm sure you can play.
I can play pretty good, but Eric sounds like he might be pretty good with his if he can slam and put some spin on and return this slam. That would be pretty good. But I think I can. How tall are you, Eric?
5'11".
Yes, you don't look 5'11".
I'm sitting.
Oh, you want to hear something funny? When I met Baller and he started, I saw him coming in the door. And I'm like, okay, there goes Eric, and he starts getting closer to me. He comes up and he goes like, "Damn, Los!" And he like hits my shoulders and he goes, "Man, you're a lot bigger than I thought. I wasn't expecting you to be, 6'2", 235." And I'm like, "Hey, man, like not all Mexicanos are like 5'6", 160. I'm sitting down on the show all the time, man. Come on now." So he kept saying that to me, like, "Los, you're way bigger than I thought." It didn't help in pool. He got me. But
dang. Yeah, that Warrior game that was frustrating tonight. Man, they played good, and then they just, Clay just, I don't know, man.
Did they have Clay in there in the stretch?
No, he's not in there in the stretch.
Was GP2 in there?
Well, no, he was. Then they took him out. He was in there, 39 seconds to go. Here's what happened. They got a 3. They got down by 6. Got a 3, 39 seconds to go. Westbrook gets the ball in the backcourt, throws it in, and Clay just automatically fouls him. And Kerr's livid. Like, we don't have to foul. If they miss, we got 15 seconds left to tie it. you know, and of course Westbrook sinks both, and it's just like dang. And they didn't have Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George fouled out with 3 minutes to go. Clippers are deep. Clippers are deep, man.
Clippers are a really good team. Really
shoot,
good team.
that's frustrating.
I wonder what their odds would be on making the finals, not winning it, but just making the finals. I bet you get pretty good odds on them because they're perennial choke artists that never get there. And maybe this is the year when you don't even think about them that they sneak in.
Yeah. So hey, go ahead, Eric.
Senior saying you see the Giants offering Montgomery a contract. Did you see anything about that?
Didn't see anything on that. Let me look.
Jordan Montgomery?
Yeah, where did you find that, Senior? Is it on Twitter somewhere, or is
Oh man, I would love if they got him a proven lefty in the rotation.
I wouldn't mind having Montgomery. He's probably a 3, but I think he could be a solid 2. He was
Senior.
What did he say?
Lois is a big fella. I'll take Eric and ping pong and Dan and trivia night, but I'll take Lois on my side in a fight in Kendallston parking lot.
You might want to take Eric in that fight because Eric will be packing and doesn't matter who can punch harder, man. You know, remember Indiana Jones, the dude doing all the swords.
With the swords and
the gun, boom, dead.
Can you pack in California? Are you allowed? That state, man?
You have to donate your left kidney and
your right testicle.
Yeah.
Jeez. My goodness. What a mess.
Hey, Chris, we talked about this, about maybe getting Bauer.
Yeah, Bora's allowed a client to sign a deal with a club. Oh, with a club option. Oh, okay. I don't know about club option. Who reported that? Did he say, Senior, about Montgomery?
Oh, no. He says he sees them operating.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Yeah. Hey, I was looking at the, one thing. I've already predicted the Niners record for next year. They've got it's an interesting schedule next year. They've got 9 home games next year, including KC at home. Interesting schedule. Don't know the dates yet, but we do have the opponents and the home and away. And see if I can find it again, because I
was telling Eric earlier when I first got on that I've been getting into it with Niner fans the last 2 days about Shanahan, and some of them are friends, really good friends of mine. I get it. I understand why people are in love with Shanahan because they remember Chip Kelly, Tom Insula, and they're scared shitless that, okay, you get rid of him, you can't, who are you going to get to replace him? I understand and get that. This is the most talented roster in football. You're not going to tell me DeMeco Ryans or Mike McDaniel or LaFleur or McVay or, one of these coaches couldn't do a good job. I'm not saying Shanahan is not a good coach. I'm saying he's a bad decision maker in big games, and he's done it 3 straight times. And does anybody really think next year, if we get there again, that he's going to make the right decision? I'm not chewing him out after doing this one time. He's done it 3 times in big games. I'm sorry, but I'm a person that if you don't learn from your mistakes, I don't have a lot of patience for you in life, in sports, anything. And he doesn't learn because I've always said he's very, very stubborn. So, hey, that's just my stance on him.
Well, yeah, I see a lot of people's points on that. By the way, here, and I'll come back to that. Here's their schedule next year. They got the home and away division, of course, but so their non-division games on the road are at Green Bay, at Miami, at Minnesota, at Buffalo, and at Tampa. So 4 games in the East: Tampa, Miami, Buffalo, and Minnesota, I guess. Oh, Miami. Yeah. Miami and Tampa in Florida, and then Buffalo, and Green Bay. In where's the other? They got the Jets in New England. Yeah, Buffalo and Miami is the AFC East they play next year. And then they get one extra AFC team like they did this year. They got Miami as their AFC team. No, they didn't play Miami this year. Who was it? Jacksonville. That's right. They played the AFC North, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and who else they played? They played Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Cincinnati, and who's the other team in the AFC North? I'm forgetting. Why can't I remember?
Can I answer Rob C. real quick's question?
Pittsburgh.
He's asking for a name for a coach.
Oh,
so Rob, I'll tell you. Last year, I was telling my friends because I was already kind of fed up with Shanahan last year. I was telling friends, you know what would be risky? You know me, I like to take my risk, not just in baseball and trades and stuff. I'm that way in investments. I have my secure money guy over here, so he knows that. But my idea last year was to trade Shanahan because he's so desired. He's a top 5 coach. He's a genius. So I would have held out for 2 first-round picks.
Ravens.
I would have traded Shanahan. I would have promoted D'Amico Ryans to head coach, and Bobby Slovic, who's studied under Shanahan, would have ran the offense. So I would have had the same offense basically being run by Slovic. I would have had D'Amico Ryans, who I think won Rookie of the Year head coach. This roster is loaded. If you have any kind of common sense as a coach, you're going to do well. So that's what I would have done. I would have got 2 more first-round picks. I would have invested in the O-line, and I would have moved off of Shanahan. Again, I don't think Shanahan's a bad coach. I think he's a very good coach. I think he gets in his own way. It's been proven over and over and over again. So I'm tired of getting silver medals. For the younger fans that are out here, maybe you like these second-place finishes. Me and Dan grew up with Niners not losing in the Super Bowl, and not only winning Super Bowls, dominating Super Bowls, not letting teams hang around. I mean, stepping on their throats so there's no questions asked, knocking them out, not letting it go to the scorecards. The Niners were up 10-3 at halftime. I was saying to my buddies, like, oh, man, this should be 17 to 20 to 3. Shanahan's not putting them away. You're letting Mahomes hang around. This is not going to be good. Boom.
Yeah, I hear you. By the way, the Niners' home schedule is pretty awesome next year. They got Dallas, Kansas City, Detroit, and then they got New England and the Jets. Aaron Rodgers, so back. Should be. I think they're going to go 12-5 or 13-4 next year. I think they can go 5-3 on the road, and I think they can go at least 7-2 at home, and that's 12 wins. And if they can win 8, if they can go 8-1, get 13 wins, should give them the NFC number 1 seed again. But a lot to be determined based on who they're going to have. There's going to be a lot of movement, different guys signing. So now I'll debate you on this with Kyle Los. I hear you, but I disagree with the fact that it's not easy to. I mean, Kyle Shanahan took over in 2017. They
built a great roster
with a terrible roster.
Built a great roster.
Oh, built a great roster. Yeah. They were terrible. They were
big props.
I mean, their first they were like the worst team, and then they ended up getting Bosa in 18 in the 18 draft. And then 19 drafted Debo in the second round. Was that the year Bosa was a rookie? 19, right? Yeah.
Yeah, 2019. But
so
is
they
that
got Bosa?
Is that Shanahan, or is that the departed Adam Peters that drafted those guys?
Well, I'm sure it's a combination of everybody, but
because remember, Shanahan fought for C.J. Beathard and Joe Williams.
I mean, he's had some bad picks. I mean,
and he did not want to scout Pat Mahomes.
Yep, he made a mistake.
Scout him, not draft him. He didn't want to scout him. But go on.
But a lot of people were down on the Mahomes pick when he was picked. I heard, I thought they should have taken Watson. That's who I was saying. Yeah. But at any rate, he did scout Debo in the Senior Bowl and wanted Debo. Saw it. So here's what I say: 7 years he's been with the Niners. NFC titles, what? 4 out of
5 years.
4 out of the last 5. In 7 years, they've made 4 NFC championships, 2-2 there, 2 Super Bowl appearances, 0-2, but probably could have won both. But you're going up against Patrick Mahomes. Some people are going to say, but when it's all said and done, he might go down as the greatest football player, not just quarterback of all time. You're going up against.
But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't put him there, but some people will. I mean, I'm not putting him above Jerry Rice right now, but he does have an uncanny way of being able to motivate guys and pull it out of, Houdini at times.
Casey's defense won this Super Bowl.
You went up against Spagnuolo and Andy Reid twice.
Spagnuolo so good.
Who are you going to bring in? I know you just said trade and then D'Amico, but who would you bring in now to replace Kyle? Ben Johnson. And what is Ben Johnson?
I know.
He's unproven.
That's going to be
okay, so you bring in Ben Johnson. He runs the offense. We don't know anything about his ability to motivate, get a group of players going. I mean, players love Kyle. I think, you could say the same thing about Andy Reid. It took him 21 years. Kyle's been a coach for a third of that time, 7 years. He's had 7 years. Andy Reid, 21 years, he was considered, he can't win the big game. He can't win the big game. Now he's won 3 of them.
He needed Mahomes to finally win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. And really, if you think about it, you got Purdy, but it's his second year and he's not Mahomes. I think give Kyle I'll tell you one difference I think Andy Reid is the best coach, obviously. One of the reasons that makes the Chiefs run that Mahomes probably wouldn't be Mahomes with the Niners, because I heard Mahomes say the other day, he says, he said, Andy lets me be me. Kyle would not let Mahomes be Mahomes.
Another thing I have against Kyle, I have a lot of things against him, but go on. He's a control freak. He will not let the quarterback change plays. So that's why when everybody's talking about Belichick coming to the Niners, there's no way it's going to happen. Can you imagine Bill Belichick calling a blitz and Kyle going over and say, "What the hell are you doing?" Belichick would be like, "Hey, bro,
I'm out of
7 titles to 0. You don't step in my face and tell me what to do." Kyle fired Wilks because Wilks likes to blitz. And how is this for a control freak?
I don't know if it's just that. It's
the organization likes to rush 4 and drop back 7.
Yes, they do. They do. And the thing is,
did the Niners just watch what the defensive Spagnuolo did? Did they not watch that game? What disrupted the Niners' offense? What did it do? It was not rushing 4 and dropping 7.
Well, if you look at that game, that play in overtime, when they got it, it was 3rd and 6. They sent 7. The Niners sent 7.
Kyle doesn't like that.
They got burned.
If Spagnuolo was on the Niners, I bet you Kyle would. And maybe it's an organizational thing, because remember Nick Bosa came out midway through the year. Hey, we don't blitz here, man. We rush 4 and drop back 7.
Yeah,
hey, man,
I don't know. I think it was when they rushed 7. Warner was showing blitz. The other linebacker, Burks or Burns or whoever. Oh, was it Burns? Burks? I can't remember. Yeah. Anyway, whoever they were showing, and Tony Romo said, "Oh, they should drop back into coverage." And as soon as they just all out blitz, he goes, "I don't like it." and then boom, complete to Rice. 3rd and 6, had they backed up into coverage and disguised a blitz and pulled back and maybe went into like they did against Detroit when they confused Goff. I don't know. I think the thing with the Wilks thing was he was not a fit understanding their linebackers and defensive line scheme as much as he was more of a secondary guy. I don't know why you do an all-out blitz and then run a soft coverage in the secondary.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
I agree.
Why would you do that?
If you're going to blitz, you press and play man to man.
You better be uptight because then you got to make him throw it quick.
100%.
When he's got all this room, cushy room and I mean, he just wasn't the fit for the organization. I don't know who is. I wish Saleh would have got fired and brought Saleh back because Vrabel would be good, but I don't know if he's a 4-3 guy with the wide 9. They like that wide 9.
So I want to talk about something about Shanahan, and I'm going to go directly at what his baby is, what he's known for, which is offense. So everybody thinks Kyle's got this immortal great offense, and here's how I'll counter that. His offense looks great when he plays against defenses that have slow linebackers that he can take advantage of, because what is Kyle's pet plays? 70 to 80% of his offense, dig and curl routes over the linebackers in front of the cornerbacks. When he plays against fast linebackers and fast secondaries, Kansas City, Baltimore, Cleveland, good defensive coordinators, the great Kyle Shanahan does not adjust. He does not adjust. What is the one play that's old school, that's worked for 80 years in football? What's the one play that is great against a blitz?
Screen.
Running back screen, not a wide receiver bubble screen. Let everybody come in, drop it to McCaffrey with blockers out front, touchdown. When was the last time in 7 years you saw Kyle Shanahan run a running back screen? I saw Andy Reid run it in the Super Bowl against the Niners blitz, and it went for about 21 yards. Yes, I watched the film. Shanahan doesn't call screens. Now, let's get to Shanahan's vertical routes. How many times does he call a vertical passing play? He doesn't, because he doesn't believe in keeping Danny Gray on the team, because he doesn't like guys that have a lot of speed. That's number 2.
I mean,
when does Shanahan throw to the outside hash marks? That's where the weakness of Kansas City was the flats. They had the middle all covered. So
I think what could end up happening though.
Shanahan is so great on offense, and he knows what the other team is doing. Why don't you counter and adjust and go to where they're not? The flats were wide open.
How many Super Bowls did Andy Reid lose with the Eagles? Was it 1?
Oh, a bunch.
2.
That was
2,
a bunch.
but he lost like 3 or 4 NFC championship games.
Right.
And Andy Reid's problem was the same thing as Shanahan's problem. He was more aggressive than Shanny, but he had clock management issues. He had poor clock management issues, and Shanahan still continues to have clock management issues.
Watch Kyle's.
Shanahan always defers, right? He always defers the coin toss. I want to score at the end of the first half, and I want to score in the second half. And everybody goes, "Oh, that's so brilliant. That's so great." Okay, if you think that, then why in the hell, at the end of this first half of this Super Bowl, with about a minute left, Kansas City's driving to kick a field goal?
Why didn't he call timeouts?
Why don't you call timeout? Why don't you save 30 seconds so you can get the ball back and do what you say you do, which is score at the end of the first half? See, this is how I call out Shanahan. You want to defer and you want to double lap. I get it. That works. Okay, then if that works, then why are you letting the clock go down? So
I thought he should have. Well, Kansas City was getting the ball. Yeah, I thought he should have called timeout too.
Yeah, my issues with Shanahan's are deep. It's how he counters when a team defends his pet plays. He doesn't. Number 2 thing I don't like about Shanahan, they have these young players that can play, and he doesn't play them. He redshirts them. Elijah Mitchell can play when he's healthy.
My
That's number 2. I have about 8 things I have against him.
Wow.
Really, I do. It's not just
my beef on it is this: is we can be critical of the guy we don't know all the details. We weren't at practice all week. Who's doing what, who's performing, who's not performing, who can play in the clutch. The guys had immense success. And if you send him packing, somebody's going to pick him up, and he's going to be Andy Reid and win 3 or 4 titles with somebody else.
Not necessarily. What if Shanahan goes to the Cardinals?
Shanahan would have his pick. If he was fired tomorrow,
I know
he would have.
That's why I want draft picks for him.
Yeah, I mean,
he's so desired. Oh, here's another thing Shanahan does that nobody calls him out for, except for me and Grant Cohn. He doesn't practice the 2-minute drill. He said that in a press conference. Why don't you practice the 2-minute drill when you're behind? Why don't you rush to the line of scrimmage? Oh, I don't believe in that. What? Every coach that's ever coached, as long as I've watched football, practices the 2-minute drill. Every one of them. You need to game plan. And the kicker for me was not knowing the overtime rules. That to me is a fireable offense. You're the head coach of the 49ers.
He knew the rules. He knew the rules. Some of the players
didn't know it.
Some of the players didn't know the rules.
He forgot to remind them during the lead up to the biggest game of the year. Hey guys, if we get to overtime, Kansas City was ready. Kansas City is not a better team than the Niners. They're better coached.
Let's play this out. So the players don't know the rules, but Kyle knows the rules. What's the difference to the offense? He's calling the plays. Are they going to go, oh shoot, we got to score here, we better try harder? What difference I'm trying to get you to think this thing logically through. If he knows the rules and the players for some reason don't, which I do think they did know.
Maybe they told him and they forgot. I'll give you that.
Yeah. But what difference does it do if they don't know the rules? If they score a touchdown, if they think they score a touchdown, they win. If they kick a field goal, Kansas City has the chance to come down. What does that do if Kyle's in control of the game?
Well, that's the problem. Kyle is a control freak.
But what does it do to the players? What the players are they going to go, well, shoot, I don't know if.
To me, the game of football is just known as a physical game. But to me, the teams that really win are the teams that are physical and also a high IQ. Now, Kyle's very high IQ. He's smart. But does he translate that to his players? Are his players the type of players that will take a ball, go up the sideline, the other team doesn't have a timeout, and slide to get out of and go out of bounds to stop the clock, or slide in bounds to keep the clock going? So Kyle, to me, I don't know if he teaches his players how to play smart. He may be smart and think he's the smartest guy in the room, which he always does, but I don't know if his teams play smart than that, because a lot of his players commit some kind of dumb, and sportsman-like penalties. So to answer your question, I know from reports that I've read that in the lead up to the Super Bowl, Andy Reid reaffirmed and told his team, if we go to overtime, which is pretty rare, but in the event that we do, again, he's preparing the team for all circumstances. This is what a coach does. Kyle doesn't prepare the team. He didn't when they played the Packers, it was raining. They asked Kyle, are you going to let Purdy practice throwing the ball with a wet ball? No, I don't believe in that either. That's the game conditions, bro.
Are you sure he said those quotes? I mean, are those verbatim? I don't believe in that. Or
I watch every post-game conference and I listen to Kyle very closely how he answers questions. He's very defiant. He like Jimmy Garoppolo, he never takes accountability. Brock Purdy at age 24 gets up there and says, I got to be better. I should have hit this throw.
Right.
Have you ever heard Shanahan said, you know what? I should have ran the ball to start the second half. He never does. In fact, he was asked that.
Well, let's look at that. First,
I listen to his press. Dan, trust me, I don't judge people unless I kind of really observe.
But let's think about it for a second. 44-yard line, they pick off the ball. 1st and 10. He looks to pass, first down.
He passed on an empty set. He didn't even have the threat of a running back there to go.
It was an empty set? Yeah.
If you're gonna throw, at least go play action. At
Yeah,
least have
exactly.
the threat of a running game. No. Empty set. This is Kansas City's strengths as their corners.
Yeah, that is dumb.
8 out of 9 times. Could have put the game away. Didn't do it.
If it was an empty set, that's not smart. But I mean, he has run some reverses out of empty sets, but still,
he did it against the Chiefs. He did it against the Rams. He didn't let Debo touch the ball, who was the best player on the planet and was so hot. Debo didn't touch the ball in the second half against the Rams, and now he did it again. That's my anger with him.
I got two thoughts here. Will B, let me answer this. Players would have been a bit more motivated. In the Super Bowl, the biggest game of their life, you don't think they were motivated to try and score a touchdown on that drive?
Be motivated already.
I don't think that changes anything if they didn't know the overtime rules, because I think their idea was we got to score, because if we don't, Mahomes could come down and score a touchdown. They did all they could to score. There was a mistake made. Burford admitted it. He said, I went on instinct. I should have just stayed in our, in our scheme, in our blocking scheme. If Burford blocks Chris Jones and doesn't miss that assignment, it's a touchdown. So that's a touchdown. But how is that Kyle's fault? That was Burford just boneheaded. He didn't think. So Kyle gets blamed for that. I'm just pointing out, it's so easy to blame a coach.
No, I see exactly.
And I say this because I got two brothers.
Happen,
I got two brothers that have been coaches, and
and
you're gonna get that. And sometimes coaches like Dan Campbell, I will say this: he blew the game. 49ers should not have been to the Super Bowl if it wasn't for Dan Campbell. That was blowing the game. He took 6 points literally off the board by being too aggressive when you could have been up by 3 scores every time he kicked a field goal. So that's that. Let's address this guy right here, because Dan is very critical of Farhan, but when it comes to Kyle, he defends him. You're darn right, Mania. What
Kyle's
has Farhan,
way more successful than Farhan? I'll back down.
What has Farhan ever done? Yeah. He's had one winning season in 5 years.
And first off, you're comparing apples to oranges.
Yeah.
Farhan's equivalent on the Niners would be
John
Lynch.
Yeah.
Right? The comparison of the Giants, you're talking Kapler to Kyle. And we were hard on Kapler.
And you know what?
Two different positions.
Here's another problem I have with all this Kyle stuff. Kyle gets criticized as being the head coach. He can't win the big game, but he also gets criticized for not winning as an offensive coordinator. He was up 28-3. Did he not put any more points on the board? No, but 28-3 should have been a big enough lead. How about Dan Quinn? How about the defensive coordinator for Atlanta? Why is he not getting any blame? Yes, he probably on third down, he probably should have run the ball because he was in field goal range, and he would have made it a 2-score game. And that was a dumb mistake. He tried to pass and he got sacked and he didn't score. That was dumb. I agree. But you can't blame the guy as an offensive coordinator and say, and make him responsible as the head coach when you don't ever blame Dan Quinn for not winning the big game. Why does Kyle have to take
that? I agree with. I think he gets the sham. He gets the sham for that one.
Wait, Mania, you don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't understand you. Wilkes was not a scapegoat. He didn't get fired because of the Super Bowl. Okay, he was going to not come back had they won. Period. It wasn't a right fit. He's not the scapegoat. His defense played awesome. And as far as you guys on the overtime that are saying Kyle blew it, I disagree. By taking the ball first, think about this. The Chiefs had not scored one touchdown the entire game based on an offensive drive. Their only touchdown in 60 minutes came after the muffed punt. They had 4 field goals up to that point, and they could not move the ball on the Niners to
Eric,
into the end zone.
Jimmy? Sorry, Dan.
Yeah.
Can you highlight Jimmy?
Jimmy
gets
what
I'm saying.
All right. They did not put the ball in the end zone the entire game. So what's to say that Kyle goes down, tries to score a touchdown, would have scored a touchdown on 3rd and 4 at the 9-yard line if Burford not missed it. So they kicked the field goal. All right? They kicked the field goal. What's to say that Kansas City is not going, that the defense, who's been dominating for most of the game, is not going to hold Kansas City to a field goal, and the Niners have the ball back with a chance to win it? And everybody's all on Kyle saying, he should have, he never taken it. You always take the ball second. Well, let's say he took it second and Kansas City got a field goal. Niners come down, get a field goal, and tie it. Now Mahomes has got the ball. And what are you going to do? I mean, do you see the point? I'm not saying that one way is exactly the right way to go.
No, that's valid.
But people are all on Kyle like it's the stupidest decision ever made. The defense, by the way, was gassed. Now you've got to put, because they were out there for the last 2-minute drive chasing after Mahomes. Now you're going to put the defense right back out there. Mahomes could, because they're tired, they don't have a chance to regroup, march down, get a touchdown. Now you got to get a touchdown and it's over.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not saying it was one way or the other. I don't think that you can say I guess my point is, why do we got to blame somebody? They just got beat.
Yeah.
Why do we got to always blame?
It was a team loss. There's a lot of reasons they lost, but here's my counter on Shanahan. That game should have never been close down the stretch. Burford's play, Ayuk getting wide open, the game going to overtime, taking the ball, deferring should have never happened because the defense did their job coming out of the halftime. They stopped Kansas City 3 times. The Niners had 3 opportunities, including one where they were on Kansas City's 44-yard line. They just needed 10 yards to get a field goal. If they score a touchdown and a field goal or 2 touchdowns, the way that D is playing, that game is more or less over. He lost the game in the 3rd quarter. That's my contention with Shanahan. He does not have a killer instinct. He does not put teams away. He lets them hang around. He plays a little conservative, and that's what gets him beat. Going into the Super Bowl, I think most everybody had this game as being a shootout. They had 35-31, 34-28. They thought it was going to be a high-scoring game. Why? Because the Niners have a really good offense. And why? Because the Niners defense was playing like crap leading up to the Super Bowl. Oh, how are they going to stop the run? The Niners D sucks. The Niners D sucks. Guess what happened in the Super Bowl? The Niners D showed up and they played their ass off. Who didn't show up? The Niners, all-star, all-pro running back, all-pro tight end, all-pro wide receiver, very good quarterback. Their offense didn't show up. Who's in charge of the offense? Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, but again, Los.
He's in charge of it. He scored 19 points.
You're playing the number 1 defense. Do they get credit? The defense. It's not just like, okay, the Niners automatically are going to.
No, they get credit.
It's a chess match. And and sometimes you go up against an opponent that is better. And Spagnuolo.
Kansas City wasn't better.
They weren't, but they had a game plan.
Their quarterback was better.
Okay,
the Niners were loaded.
The wide receivers could hardly get any separation.
So you throw to the tight end. Oh, but they can't throw to the tight end because he's staying in the block. Whose decision was that?
I mean,
why aren't you throwing? Well, like I said earlier.
How about the first opening drive?
Beautiful drive.
McCaffrey fumbled. Is that on Kyle?
Fumbled. Absolutely his fault. 100% his fault. Cannot debate that at all. But you know what happened?
Kyle's fault or McCaffrey?
No, nobody's fault. That's CMC's fault.
Right. Well, what happens if
what happened? You know what happened at halftime? Kansas City made adjustments. Kyle didn't. Kyle does not make in-game adjustments. He stays stubborn and he stays with the same thing, even if it's not working. Kansas City, after that first drive,
he made some adjustments.
Well,
McCaffrey. How about McCaffrey catching the ball on the flat and going down the left sideline for many?
Averaged 3.5 yards a carry. Like Kansas
on
City
carries. Right. They stuffed him. So that's hence why they had to maybe throw a little more than he planned on. He ran 31 times, I believe, and passed for 39, something like that. It was a little bit more. I think he would have loved to have run the ball. He was actually running the ball more in the fourth quarter when they were chewing up the clock and he got down to the 2-minute warning. The one play that I will fault Kyle for, if I'm going to say, I'll be consistent with this, was I did not like the 2nd and 4 at the 9-yard line in overtime, sending Debo in motion to the left and then running counter to the right. That is the weak part of the line. I would have done that, and I would have pitched the ball to McCaffrey and had him run outside, and I think he would have picked up maybe the first down, but if not, you might have had a 4th and 1. That's where I disagreed. And I think if it was 4th and 1, Kyle might go for it. I don't know. So that was my thing.
Yeah.
But this guy mania, whatever, San Francisco mania, Giants mania, whatever that means.
He's using capitalization to get his point across.
Yeah. They just blame Wilks. How did they blame Wilks, Dope? Seriously. Because he got fired? He got fired. He had one of his better games in the Super Bowl. It was based off of his performance against Detroit. It was based off of Nick Bosa's comments that said we weren't prepared for some of those Mahomes runs. So Kyle's going to listen to his top defensive player, Bosa, and Warner. Wilks never truly connected with this defense like Saleh and DeMeco Ryans did. Wilks was more of a defensive back coach. He didn't have the schemes down. Why, again, if you had the schemes down and you're running an all, a 0, 7 guys blitzing, how are you knowing the entire defense if your secondary's 12 yards off the ball in soft coverage, soft man? That's just like the stupidest thing I've ever seen and heard. 100%. I mean, he did the same thing earlier, was going to do the same thing. Kyle called the timeout. Kyle shouldn't have to call timeout. He didn't like the play against Minnesota earlier in the year when they ran an all-out blitz with only a few seconds to go in the half, and Minnesota threw it for a touchdown. Remember that, Los, on Monday Night Football? Okay, These are the issues that he was having, Mania. This was not, knee-jerk reaction, I'm firing him because of the Super Bowl. If they had won the Super Bowl, I still believe, without a doubt, that Wilks would have departed because Kyle was not connecting. There was a lack of trust on his play calling, and you know what? It wasn't Wilks' fault either. Wilks, to his credit, was learning a whole new scheme because just the fact that he's a defensive coordinator doesn't mean that every defensive coordinator runs things the same.
Danny, let me ask you, and anybody in the chat that is like pro Shanahan, I get it. I respect it. Me and Dan are having a good debate here. I love it. Let me just ask Dan and ask anybody here in the chat an honest question. If you're pro Shanahan, if you believe in him, if they're in the Super Bowl again next year, they're paying Buffalo, let's say, and the same circumstances come up. It's a close game. Again, can't pull away. It's a close game. Do you trust Kyle Shanahan to make the right calls and the right game plan when the game is on the line? Do you trust him? That's a simple question. Either it's a yes or a no. If you're saying yes, then you're saying he's learned from his mistakes. He's not going to be stubborn and he's going to do things a little differently. If you say no, then you kind of believe I've seen it 3 times and he hasn't changed 3 times. So
Getting to the Super Bowl, would you agree, is pretty
Very
pressure
hard.
game?
Very hard.
Pressure game. Did he make the right calls against Detroit at the end in the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
Okay, so he can do it in pressure situations.
He got a little lucky with a tip pass for a long play, but yeah.
But you're down 17. You're down 17. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I get people's frustration with Shanahan, with his stubbornness, his wanting to control things. But
see if
he got lucky. See, is he lucky or you can't have it both ways, guys. He's that's like saying, Kyle's a terrible coach and Jimmy's a horrible quarterback. Kyle can't do it. How the heck did he get to the Super Bowl with a horrible quarterback? Answer that for me, everybody. How did he get to the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo? Because Garoppolo sucked. That means Kyle is just lucky?
He had a great run game. And
come on, guys.
In the NFC
call it both ways.
In the NFC Championship against Green Bay, he ran the ball and ran the ball and ran the ball and ran the ball, and he blew that team out. That was the one time Kyle stuck with the run, and oh my God, it worked. Now I'll answer that. The reason Kyle gets to the Super Bowl easier, name me a dominant defense in the NFC.
Oh, come on, guys.
The dominant defensives and defensive coordinators are in the AFC. It's not a coincidence that Cleveland bothered the Niners.
And Kyle was up in overtime on the most dominant defense. He was up in overtime. He was ahead of the game. So how?
Yeah, it was because of his defense, not his offense.
But his offense scored
19 points.
It was enough if the defense held on.
His offense scored 20.
Who lost the game at the end? Was it the offense or the defense? Who was on the field when they lost?
The defense.
Okay, so why is the defense not having to be called out?
Because for 72 minutes of that game, 60 plus 12 of overtime, the defense played well about 55 minutes.
Do you see my point I'm making here? I'm not blaming the defense. I'm trying to say that you can't have it both ways. You can't blame Kyle and then not blame the defense.
Yeah.
Kyle was ahead. Kyle's put the team ahead.
Not ahead by enough.
And this comment by Grant is great. Every championship team has lucky breaks. You got to be so lucky. There was 7 fumbles by the Chiefs in that game. How many did they lose? Yeah, 1. The ball bounced.
Was it 7 or was it 5? I thought it was 5.
Well, it was 6 or 7. There was a stat put out today. I saw it on Twitter. The Chiefs had the luckiest break of any team since 2018.
I agree. You know what?
Oh, I mean, how about the punt, the ball that hits Luter's foot? I mean, Ray, and I heard some people say, why did Ray not fall on the ball? Because the ball was right here. He would have had to. You can't fall naturally straight down. You have to dive. So he tried to pick it up. People who never played sports, it pisses me off because you can't go down and fall on a ball unless you drop to your knees and then try and fall. You try, if the ball's in front of you, you dive, but you can't dive. Everybody try it. Stand up and try and drive straight.
Everybody try to jump.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Kansas City.
I don't get. You see, I played football. I played baseball. I played basketball.
Once again, they didn't get. You know what? The Kansas City Chiefs under Mahomes have been in 4 Super Bowls. They played Niners twice, Philly, and Tampa Bay. All 4 of those teams have great pass rushers. You know how many times the Chiefs got called for holding in 160 minutes of football? No, I'm sorry, 60 times 4 is 240 plus 12 minutes of overtime. In 252 minutes of playing football with Pat Mahomes at quarterback, the Chiefs O-line, which has been average every single year,
I know they had 0.
Exactly 0 holdings. That is a major, major red flag for the NFL.
You know whose fault that is?
The NFL and the storyline.
No.
Hey,
Not at
isn't
all.
it ironic that on
That
the day
is
before
not the
Valentine's-
NFL's fault.
right before Valentine's Day,
Be
Travis
consistent. Be
gets-
consistent.
yes.
That is not the NFL's fault. That is Kyle Shanahan's fault.
Because of what? Oh, yeah.
No holding. It's Kyle's fault.
You
No,
know
He's got
what?
to. He's.
Let me pose a question to both of you guys. Is the argument with Kyle Shanahan about his X's and O's, or
No.
is it more about his personality and the way that he happens to just manage the game, his personality,
Bingo.
this maybe decision making,
Bingo.
not his X's and O's, but
No.
other
No.
parts.
I'm okay with his X's and O's, except his stubbornness to go to the flats. That's I see it. I watched the film. He does not want to throw the flats. He likes to throw over the middle. There could be 11 guys in the middle of the field. You know, CMC could be wide open in the flat. He won't throw it to him. That's just not in his nature.
I don't see. I think you're getting. I think you're picking. What was the
No,
first down to kick?
I watched the all 22 film, Dan.
What was the play to one of only 2 catches? I think by Kittle, by the way, or did he only have one? Where was that?
One got called back for a
Yeah,
holding
okay.
on Williams. Oh, they saw that holding, didn't they?
Right. Yeah.
They saw that
Where was the other pass to Kittle late in the game? Where he got the first down?
The fourth down. The fourth down.
Yeah.
4.
Where was it to?
It was to the sidelines.
To the flat.
It was to the flat.
To the flat.
So he got a couple.
I'm just going to call you out because look,
No,
I
does
think
he throw the
guys
flat
get
once in a while? Yeah, but not enough. Not enough to score points. And here's the thing that I'm keep saying. You know why lucky bounces and holding calls and fumbles and bad calls and this and that didn't affect the Niners of the past? Because they were whooping that ass 55-10, 38-16. It didn't matter because they just.
It was a different era.
Walsh knew how to put teams away. Shanahan had a chance to blow this game open in the third quarter, and he didn't do it.
I think his
offense didn't do it. Hey, you know what? Talk about good breaks. The Niners got a good break in overtime. It was 3rd and 13. They were going to go 3 and out.
Yeah,
they got a phantom defensive holding call.
No, that wasn't a phantom. He hooked him, and
that's a break.
It was a good call because he was going to be wide open deep, and Purdy was looking right at him. And when he hooked him, he couldn't break free to go deep because the player got suckered on the move. It was a out and up, and he hooked him. That was no phantom call. You look at that very closely.
Did you agree with Shanahan in overtime kicking a field goal? Because when they kicked the field goal, I said they just lost the game because Mahomes is going to go down and score. You don't kick field goal. Everybody said that. You don't kick field goals against Mahomes to beat him. What do the Niners do? Thank God Moody had a good game. What did they do? Kick field goals.
All right. I want to put you in a position as a coach.
I love it.
Right. You're coaching.
It's good.
You're coaching.
Good dialogue. It's a good back and forth.
You're coaching.
Yeah.
You're watching your team. You're watching your defense. The whole game, 60 minutes. The only touchdown was a 10-yard drive after a fumble. You got a decision. It's 4th and 4. If I kick a field goal, do I feel good enough that my defense will continue to be able to hold this guy for one drive to a field goal?
No.
Or do I go for it and I miss? I don't convert. Now all is I'm at the 9-yard line. All is Mahomes has to do now is go 50 yards to get it to about the 40-yard line for a 58-yard field goal for Butker to win the Super Bowl. I got to stop. Can I stop them for 50 yards, or do I have the chance to keep them for 75 yards and keep them to a field goal? Because if I can keep them to a field goal, I have control now of the game, and this is why I deferred. So go ahead. You're the coach. Now, how do you make that decision?
The way I read the flow of the game.
Because I'll tell you what, it's a lot easier to sit here on a show instead of the heat of the battle
100%.
and say,
Easy for us to say and second guess. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more with you. But if you're asking me, putting me on the spot as the coach, I'm looking at the flow of the game. You know what's ironic about this, guys? Shanahan has used the A word in his press conference the last few times. What's the one word we hate on this channel? And it relates to baseball. What is it, Eric?
Analytics.
Analytics. I've heard the great Kyle Shanahan refer to that at least 3 to 4 times. Well, we have guys that study this, and they say the analytics and the percentages say that we should do this and defer and do that. I don't want my coaches doing analytics. I never like analytics in baseball, football, ping pong, pool, hockey. I don't like analytics. I like coaches that have a gut feeling about how the game is flowing. The Niners defense played great in the first half. They played great. Kansas City made adjustments in the second half. The Niners had to counter those adjustments. The other thing is the Niners defense was on the field a long time. Why? Because their offense couldn't get any first downs. They lost the game in the third quarter, like I said, 3 and out, defense back on the field, 3 and out, defense back on the field, 3 and out, defense on the back of the field. So to answer your question, if I'm the coach and I see, damn, my defense has been on the field a long time in the second half, there's no way they can stop Mahomes. He's going to get a touchdown. I need to score a touchdown. The better unit of my team all year long has been my offense. I have 4 All-Pros on my offense. I'm confident in my ability. As the great Kyle Shanahan, I'm the expert. I'm going to draw up a play that's going to get a touchdown on 4th and 4 from the 9-yard line. I'm Kyle Shanahan, right? So I'm going for a touchdown. And if I don't get it, then they're pinned in at the 9-yard line, and then my defense has got to keep them from getting a field goal. But there's no way I kick a field goal because everybody said you can't beat Mahomes with field goals. Everybody said that. So if they said that, then you have to follow through with it and not do it. And he did it multiple times, and he lost again because of it. So there's my answer.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, that's a
Touchdown
valid
beats Mahomes, not field goals.
It's a valid point, but I think as a coach, you have to look at it and say, he hasn't scored on me yet. Why? And my defense is rested now because I let him sit for the last 15 minutes instead of putting him out on the field like you wanted to do in the beginning. Because what you would have done is put him on the field after they just got off the field, and Mahomes probably would have marched down through them because they were tired. Now you're forced to get a touchdown. And hey, look, this was a fierce defensive battle. This was 7 field goals in the game. 7. 21 points out of the 47 that were scored were field goals. There was 4 touchdowns in the game. 2 by the Niners, 2 by the Chiefs. And that was the difference, was the end there. And, I mean, I think
Dan, I've seen Mahomes do it too many times at the end of the games. Mahomes is Montana. He's Elway. He's going to beat you.
And by the way, for all the people who want to blame Moody for the missed extra point, there would have been no overtime had Moody made the extra point. I'm just telling you, the Niners would have lost at the end of regulation, 20-17.
Dan, you're a kicker. As far as where you actually kick the ball with your foot to get it high, where do you kick it at? Because that seemed like it was low.
I kick it on the bottom stripe of the ball.
Okay, so he kicked it a little bit.
I don't know if they're in the NFL ball. When the ball I played with,
on NFL,
I had 2 stripes. High school and a college ball had 2 stripes when I played. So I always kicked on the bottom stripe because you don't want to kick it so low that you scrape your foot and you just go straight up and you don't get any power into the ball. But you want to kick it low. Moody kicked it between, if there were 2 stripes and there was a middle stripe, he kicked it between the low stripe and a middle stripe of the ball. He got it too high. He kicked the ball in the, towards the middle of the ball, which caused the ball to not get upward. It just went, yeah.
Dan, what would Eddie D do after this game? Honestly.
Well,
knowing his personality.
What are you saying he would fire Kyle?
Yes.
Um,
Eddie wouldn't tolerate second place this many times. There's no way.
Maybe not. But
you know why Jed loves him? Jed had Chip Kelly, he had Singletary, he had Harbaugh, he had all these guys that were either bad coaches or Harbaugh was a good coach but was an asshole. He finally gets a guy that's a good guy. I'm not saying Kyle's not a good guy. I'm not even saying he's a bad coach. I think Kyle's a really good coach. You got to hear, everybody's got to hear what I'm saying. I'm saying he's very stubborn. He doesn't change his ways. And I don't think he will change his ways because that's just his DNA. And you know what's really frustrating about this? His dad is Mike Shanahan. Do you think Mike Shanahan in the Super Bowl with Terrell Davis behind him said, you know what? I'm not going to run the ball with Terrell Davis. I'm going to go empty set and try to throw the ball. You think his dad would have did that? He didn't, by the way.
Yeah.
His dad ran Terrell Davis right at Green Bay all game long and beat a team.
Yeah, but you also have to realize when you look at this,
he beat a 10-point favorite with his running back.
You have to look at this. The game's changed. Back when those guys played,
winning the game, man.
Not all, but you got to look at this, Los. Back then, the rules were you could jam the receivers, you could hit them inside 5 yards, you can continue to hit them. So you had to run the ball a lot because you couldn't just pass. It's a passing league now, and as far as the Super Bowls with the Niners blowing out, and not in the Niners today not blowing teams out, it's a whole different game now in the Super Bowl. Look at the era of all the old games that all of them were horrible. For years they were, it was Dallas whipping Buffalo or Washington whipping somebody or the Niners whipping somebody. It was like, how many Super Bowls? You go back and look at the records. Now look at the last, I don't know. Let's pull up the Super Bowls here.
That Denver team, the Niners beat 55-10. This is a fact. This is not me trying to validate my case. That was the number one defense in football. The Denver Broncos were the number one defense in football. You know what the Niners did? They watched on film that their players like to deliver big hits and didn't like to wrap up. So the Niners, as great as their team was, they were not a deep throwing team. They were not a throw the ball vertically. They were kind of a pick you apart. Joe Montana with, a lot of swing passes to Rathman, Roger Craig, slants. Watch the game film of that Super Bowl. They beat Denver up top. They beat them vertically. And Montana didn't have a big arm because they knew that was their weakness. They couldn't cover deep. That, to me, is good coaching. You find out the weakness of a defense and you attack it. Shanahan doesn't attack the weaknesses of the other team's defense. He sticks with his game plan no matter what because he thinks that his game plan will beat anybody no matter what they play. That's what I've seen. I'm not observing Shanahan after 1 year and calling him out. This is me looking at this. There is nobody. You can ask any of my friends. When it was 2017 and it was Josh McDaniels versus Kyle Shanahan, I labored hard and fought for Shanahan. I wanted him as a head coach. I saw the brilliant mind. Now I've seen him for 7 years and observing him, and I still think he's a good coach and he's a smart coach, but he's stubborn as hell, and I just don't think he's going to change and not make good decisions when we need him. He's going to get to the playoffs again next year, and he might get to the Super Bowl next year, but I don't have a lot of faith in him in winning it. I hate to say that. Hey, I'm consistent, and I picked against the Giants not making the playoffs. I call it as an
All right. I mean, look at the last.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, and everybody comes in here and says you're a complete idiot next year. Niners win the Super Bowl. Those, I'll gladly come on here and eat crow.
Yeah,
gladly.
I mean, it's
not about being right or wrong. It's just what I see.
Yeah, and my point on all this is,
does Eric have an opinion on this?
Nope.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
I'm
I'm not big on the X's and O's, but I like, you know me, I like leadership stuff. You hear me talk about it all the time on MHC. So that's the kind of things that I look for. Because you guys know a lot more about X's and O's.
I think Kyle's a very good leader of
put a quick poll in there, Eric. Just put a quick poll. Should the Niners fire Shanahan, yes or no?
Ooh, okay.
You'll win.
I may not.
I think so.
I may
I think
not.
you'll win. From the chats I see, I think more people back Shanahan, and I get it. And I don't know. Ask the people that back Shanahan: are you backing him because you truly believe in him, or you just don't believe that there's somebody out there better? Ask yourself that honest question. If it's because there's nobody better, then you really don't have a lot of confidence in him either. Is that part of it, Dan? You don't think Ben Johnson could succeed, or Eric Bieniemy, or one of these other young head coaches? Is that part of the reason why you hold on to Shanahan? Is because you think there's nobody better? I remind you, Mark Jackson was a pretty good coach, but he didn't get him over the top. Nobody knew who Steve Kerr was. He was a GM. Why are they bringing in Steve Kerr? Oh my God, Mark Jackson's got him playing defense.
Yeah, now there's guys like Sy who,
if you got talent,
and many others want to get rid of Steve Kerr. Look, guys, it's tough to win championships.
Very.
If you're competing for a championship and you're there every year, I mean, eventually you might get fired if you don't get it done. But I don't think it's time to get rid of Kyle at this point. He's played Patrick Mahomes twice in the Super Bowl, and everybody, I mean, hey, there was 64 people picking the Super Bowl on ESPN. Do you know how many picked the Chiefs?
49.
So-called 49. Only 15 picked the Niners.
49.
Yeah. Only 15 picked the Niners. So if they were expected to lose, weren't they expected to lose?
According to the experts.
So,
you know what the funny thing about Mahomes is, Dan? He didn't play great games against the Niners in both games. He didn't throw for 384 touchdowns and no
pick. They played good against him.
He played well on defense. He intercepted him twice in Super Bowl 54. They intercepted him once this last Sunday. He did not play great games. The Niners defended him. What failed the Niners in both games?
Hey, San Francisco Giants mania, keep pushing me and see what happens.
Hey, you know what? The last time we heard that the Niners couldn't score on offense was because they were held back by their quarterback, right? It was Jimmy Joe's fault. He missed Emmanuel Sanders. He missed easy throws. He's not mobile. Oh, by the way, did anybody see Purdy bootleg, scramble, get any yards with his legs, which he did fantastically against Detroit? Did Kyle call any bootlegs, which would have completely fooled Kansas City because they were all going after McCaffrey? Did he call for that?
First play, second play of the game to Hushek, I think.
He rolled out, but he threw it. I'm talking about running with the ball. Purdy was a non-factor.
I don't think there was a lot of openings there.
How did Mahomes beat the Niners with his legs?
Of course.
There you go.
But the defense was
called the 1 4th and 1.
Yes. And Bosa cut in. He went for the dive for the fake up the middle.
And the whole game he was staying to the outside except for that.
That's what I'm talking about. When it comes down to it, in the key moments, Andy Reid, Spagnuolo will call the right blitz and the right play call. Shanahan, so far, he has not. Dan said, he ran to the right, the weakness of the team, instead of running by his all-pro left tackle and his pretty damn good left guard.
What name did I call?
Get beat with your best. Get beat with your best, Dan. Get beat with your fastball, not your junky changeup, right?
I agree. They should have went to the left. I agree on the second and 4. I did not like that play call going to the right because I saw it get stuffed many times. I think that was Kyle trying to get too cute and trick guys instead of just going with your strength. I always want to, if I'm going to win or lose, I'm going to, I was talking to my brother about this the other day, big basketball coach. I said, are you going to, if you need one bucket to win the game at the end of the game, are you going to, you're going to draw up a play for one of your worst shooters as a decoy? You're going to send it to him, or are you going to go with one or two guys to get the job done? It's like, no way. Yeah, you could throw it to the guy that's going to be wide open, but he's going to brick the shot.
I think one of the reasons why I'm as heated as I am is, and I told Eric this earlier before you came back on, is I watched an interview with Baldinger, Brian Baldinger, and his podcast guy. They interviewed Spagnuolo, who I very much admire as a defensive coordinator. And I listened to the whole interview, and they asked him, what was your game plan against Shanahan? He's like, well, I had to take away McCaffrey in the running game, so I stacked the box. And I made sure that I pressed the wide receivers. I'm not going to play zone because they love to run those curl and dig routes over the middle. So I was going to press them and run with them. And they said, well, that had to leave you vulnerable to something. And he goes, yeah, if I had to pick my poison, I was going to let, Kittle was going to be the guy that possibly beat me. Well, Kittle couldn't beat them because what? He was left in to protect and block. That's what I mean, man. Like, Shanny, you got to know, you got to see what they're doing and then counter. Oh, you're taking away Ayuk and Debo? Okay, I'm going to have McCaffrey run wheel routes. I'm going to get the ball to Juice. Hey, Juice is always open. So I can play the game he was open. And I'm going to get the ball to Kittle. Now, guess who had a good game? Jauan Jennings.
Mm-hmm.
So, good job on Purdy recognizing that he was the open guy. But Kittle getting 2 catches because he was basically an offensive lineman. I saw Kittle's response when he walked off the field. Kittle's always he's Mr. Happy. I know you're not supposed to be happy walking off the field for a Super Bowl, but he had the most depressed look on his face. Like, man, I wasn't even a factor in this game. So it's a shame.
Let me ask you guys this question here. Do you agree with that statement up on the screen there that Kyle lost the locker room?
That's a great question. And go ahead, Dan, if you want to answer it first.
I would like to know how he lost the locker room and what evidence he has that he lost the locker room.
I think if you talk to the 49ers off camera, not with a camera on their face where it can get back to the coaching staff. I always say that on this show when baseball. I said, if you talk to them at a bar, at a restaurant, and there's no cameras, I would guarantee SF Giants Mania, there are quite a few Niners that are upset at Kyle. They're upset at him. Brandon Ayuk's already upset because he didn't touch the ball at all. I know Kittle's upset. I think the offense in Purdy's not going to be upset because he's a young guy. He's just ecstatic to be the 49ers quarterback and ecstatic that he's, doing it in Kyle's systems. I'm talking about the veterans on that offense. And I think a lot of their defense is looking at Kyle going, bro, this is another game where, like, you could have dialed up some plays. The defense probably is a little upset at them because they played their ass off to win that game. And they needed the offense to score about 25 to 27 points, and they couldn't do it. So, yes, I think there are some players that are angry with them. Will it boil over? Yeah.
Jeff says he didn't. Thanks, Jeff, for the donation. He didn't lose the room. Listen to the players.
Jeff Taylor, that's in a camera with in front of their face. What do you think they're going to say? They're not going to come out and blast Shanahan.
I think the players love Shanahan. Richard Sherman loves Shanahan.
I think stuff's going to come out in the next 2 months. I think it will, little by little. We'll see.
Maybe so. There's always going to be some players that might be upset, but you know what?
Do you know the Niners lost 4 coaches?
I mean, Ayuk was pissed off that he didn't get the ball in the end zone when he was wide open in overtime on that 3rd and 4, but it was because Purdy had to throw. So I don't like it when players pout selfishly because they're pissed off that they didn't. Football's the most team sport of any sport period, because it's 11 on 11. You saw one guy break down his coverage in Burford, his blocking scheme, and that affected the rest of the 10 guys. One guy could, and how, I mean, so when I respect Burford. He took it. He said, I blew it.
Took accountability.
Took accountability.
I love it.
So, he's Ayuk is, he wants to be a champion. Hey, look, when you lose a game like that, you're going to have guys say things emotionally
Absolutely.
that was, in the heat of the moment, they're frustrated, they're pissed. They'll be back. Ayuk will be back. He's posturing for a contract.
Here's another thing I'm worried about, Dan, about them getting back. Niners played 20 games this year. Last year, they played 19. The year before, they played 19. 2019, they played 20. They have a lot of miles on those legs. A lot of miles on those legs. That adds up, man. It does. And you
better Bay, come back.
You got Green. You said it a few weeks ago. Green Bay and Detroit are coming.
Yeah,
they are young and they are hungry.
Yeah.
If you had to put a gun to my head and say your life depends on getting this answer right, the Niners will or will not get to the Super Bowl next year. Right now, as we stand on February 14th, happy Valentine's Day, by the way, I would say the Niners are not going to get back to the Super Bowl next year. Not because they're not a good team, not even because I think Kyle is not the guy. I think they have a lot of miles on their legs. Their guys are going to be 1 year older. Hangovers from losing the Super Bowl is absolutely legit. And that was about as heartbreaking as a loss of a Super Bowl as I've ever seen.
Well, we saw Philadelphia crumble down the stretch.
In 2020, the Niners fell apart.
Yeah, they lost Jimmy G and Kittle
that year.
For
sure.
Yeah,
because again, beat up. They're beat. They played a lot of games. So Detroit, if Detroit and Green Bay get home field advantage, they're hungry. They're coming.
I think Detroit's not going to be sneak up on it.
Detroit drafts well. Detroit's GM knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
they're going to draft better players again. I want to see what the Niners do with their first round pick. Are they going to ignore offensive linemen again? Are they going to go D-line again? That's another thing I don't agree with the front office. They invested so much in the defensive line to get pressure on the quarterback. What does it matter when they don't call holding in Super Bowls? You know what I mean? What does it matter? They got held at least 5 times. They didn't call it. Invest in your old line so you can protect your young quarterback, who, by the way, played a damn good game for all the pressure that he got.
Hope Springs Eternal says, Kyle, I already unsubscribed. Dan wanted to hire Bauer, who no team wants to touch.
I'm talking about that in the chat.
Okay. Well, we did a poll that 72% would like the Giants to hire Bauer out of 150 in the chat the other night. So I'm not the only one, but you take your self-righteousness somewhere else then, Hope Springs Eternal, because you're sinless, it sounds like.
How's the Shanahan poll going, Eric?
Oh, let's take a gander.
There we go. We got a guy that subscribed. Thank you, Nicotina.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hope you enjoyed the debate. It was a good one. I like respectful debates.
Oh, I'm sorry you were abused, but what Bauer did, he was proven innocent. He didn't abuse somebody. He did something that was stupid. I agree, but it was agreed upon prior to whatever their kinky stuff they wanted to do. But he didn't abuse somebody to the point where they were hurt physically. So I think if you're abused, I get it. That nobody should have to be abused. But and when it first came out, if you heard my statements, I was kick him out of baseball. He should never pitch again. But when the evidence came out, I changed my tune because I heard the truth. That's why, like so many others, I made the mistake and prejudged somebody without having the evidence. That's why America is supposed to be the greatest country ever made, because you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. There was no Buddy's word, but hers against his. So everybody was coming down on Bauer, myself included, because it sounded horrible. But now that the evidence has come out and the woman was lying to get a ton of money and she wasn't abused or hurt or physically beat up, I think he's being, do I agree with, I would never want to put myself in a situation like that, whether I'm an athlete or I have no money at all. That's not my gig, but, hey, how can he's admitted he was wrong for being involved in that. He's taken responsibility to say it was bad judgment on his part and he won't get involved in it again. So how can if you take that approach to life, then none of us should have a chance in anything, because we've all made mistakes somewhere along the line in judgment. None of us are perfect. There's only one person that I know that's perfect in this world who's ever lived, and that was Jesus Christ. And they killed him. And he was perfect, sinless, put him on a cross. By the way, you should put your faith in him, not sports teams, because if you put your faith in Christ, you're going to be disappointed in life, but you'll never be, he'll never disappoint you. So,
today is Ash Wednesday, by the way, I believe.
It is. Well, it isn't. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Or is,
It was.
I should say.
Yeah. I don't think that people, I think we have an issue of judging people based on, I think unless somebody's done something like rape or murder or anything to do with children, abuse of children, any kind of abuse. I believe in second chances in life, but maybe you blew your opportunity to do your profession. You may never get your, I think people should be prosecuted seriously for those things. And sometimes decisions we make in life have consequences. And if you kill somebody, you probably should never get out of prison if it was premeditated murder, or you rape somebody or you molest a child. Oh my goodness. That's why, people who go to prison that have done things to children, a lot of times they don't make it out because it's something that's universal, and people should never, don't lecture me, Dan. I'm a born again Christian. I don't think I was lecturing you, Hope Springs Eternal. Did I lecture her?
No, you weren't lecturing. You're just explaining yourself.
I'm explaining myself.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you're a born again Christian. I was not lecturing you. I was stating that I don't think we should judge somebody who is innocent, because you're saying you were abused, and I'm sorry for that. But Bauer, if he was abusive, I would agree with you. I would not be advocating for the Giants to sign him or anybody else. But now that the facts have been out in the case and it was not proven, that's what I'm saying. So, I would never advocate for some, buddy who was beating somebody against their will. That's just, there's no place for that.
Yeah.
There's no place for, in my opinion, there's no place for hurting a woman physically in any way.
Eric, would you say our poll was up?
Oh,
Which poll is this one? The Shanahan or the ping pong?
Yeah, Shanahan. No, ping pong one's done.
Okay.
You know where you ended up on ping pong?
Yeah, 15 Mahomes. 15%, man.
We're at 44 votes. 57% say no to firing Shanahan. 43% say yes to fire Shanahan.
It's about right. It's about right.
Interesting.
I get it. Like I said, all the people that voted don't fire him. Ask yourself this: is it because you don't trust or feel there's anybody out there that's better, or is it because you 100% have faith that Kyle will learn from his mistakes moving forward? Ask yourself that. Be honest with yourself, because the arguments I've had in the last 48 hours, the question I keep getting asking is, who are you going to hire? Who are you going to hire? Who are you going to hire? That's telling me that you're worried more about who the new guy is going to be rather than Kyle's great. He's going to learn.
No, I don't think. I think you have to play both into that, because if you're just going to fire him because you don't think he'll ever get it, who's going to do better is the question. If you think he's not going to get the job done because he's incapable, who's more capable out there that would get it done? And if you thought, you could say, well, Jim Harbaugh, but he didn't get it done either.
Right.
And you could say, well, Sean McVay, well, he got it done. Well, yeah, he didn't go up against Mahomes and he played on his home field. So,
year they could have went up against Cincinnati. Tart drops the, oh my God.
Yeah. So, we would have made 3 in a row against Cincinnati. That would have, it would have been third time. How about who else is a great coach? Well, Andy Reid's not available. Who else is out there? Would you take, he's won a Super Bowl. What's his name over at Pittsburgh? I'm drawing a blank.
Mike Tomlin?
Would you take Tomlin over Shanahan?
Hell yes. I love Mike Tomlin. What a leader of men. Just make sure you get a great offensive coordinator, because you have all these weapons.
All right, so you take Tomlin. Okay, would you take McDaniels, Mike McDaniels?
Honestly, I love Mike McDaniels. He's got cojones.
How's he done in the playoffs?
Not great, but he doesn't have the Niners roster. If you put Mike McDaniels on this roster, he would go for it on 4th downs and he would not kick field goals.
Check this out.
I would take Green Bay's coach over Shanahan, LaFleur. I would take him.
Vintage oddball cards. I like this. You guys are bitching and moaning about a second place or a second best team in the NFL. Let's get back to talking about the crappy Giants. Farhan has no clue. Ownership doesn't want to win.
I would take John Harbaugh over Shanahan. Absolutely.
Okay. He's won a Super Bowl.
And he's beaten Shanahan straight up multiple times. Andy Reid has beaten him.
All right, but they're not available.
Is Mike Vrabel available?
Yes.
I like him.
How's he done? Has he won any playoff games?
Well, that's always the narrative is going to be like, well, what has he done? Well, let's take all these coaches and let's give them McCaffrey, Debo, Ayuk, Purdy, Trent Williams. Let's give them 9 All-Pros and let's see how they do. That's my count.
Who had the vision to draft those guys and develop them, and get them to play in that system?
Adam Peters.
You can't give Shanahan any credit for that.
I give Shanahan credit for helping turn around a completely crap roster and a crappy team to build a winning culture of the organization. I completely give him and Lynch credit for that. I credit Shanahan for hiring Lynch, because they hired Shanahan first and he got to pick who his GM was going to be. You know who we're not talking about that I think needs some criticism too is Jed York. And I know he's getting a lot of positives for shelling out money and re-signing players and this and that. Jed York came out and gave a press conference before the Super Bowl. He hasn't spoken all year. He said he was completely happy even if the Niners lost the NFC Championship game, and that he loves Shanahan and loves working with him. Now, I don't mind the love working with Shanahan comment, but I hated that comment as an owner. I'm happy if we lose the NFC Championship. That's a loser mentality. I'm sorry. I grew up with Eddie DeBartolo. I grew up with Bill Walsh. I grew up with winning, Super Bowls. Not we lost 3 straight. I feel sorry for young Niner fans that have never seen a win.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, but I think
there's a standard here. If you represent the San Francisco 49ers, that Jed York should know better than that, than making a statement like that. But it sounds like he's very content. He, compared to being with Harbaugh, who was absolutely a rebellious SOB, he has a good man in Shanahan, a good man in Lynch. The organization is in great shape. But if the organization is held to winning Super Bowl standards, they have failed to meet that standard. And all of these games, the Rams game easily could have won. The 2 games against the Chiefs easily could have won. And there was a lot of different factors behind Shanahan. I get it. That fumble was a joke. I mean, what are the chances of it going up in the air, hitting the guy on the leg, falls down? Rayvon McCloud just fall down and stay on it. Try to pick it up and advance it. That was stupid.
How about the one? I mean, Jaquiski Tartt.
A lot of factors. Jaquiski Tartt catches. Like 100% blaming Shanny. There's a lot of things to blame.
I think you just, if you listen back what you just said, about the last minute or two about how Jed loves working with Kyle, how not dysfunctional but functional the organization is running.
Absolutely.
And you take all those things into consideration, the character of the team. You remember they had a lot of guys that were messing up that they drafted. Remember the kid out of Alabama, the linebacker Foster, and then they had then they had some other guy that was defensive end. That was who was that? That was Aldon Smith, and then they've had issues with some players and some people who've had domestic violence issues, and they got rid of them all. And they have
what point you're making is a great point, Dan, and that's what makes this so frustrating. Is Kyle and John have built, and Jed to a point. Obviously, he's the owner. They've built such an outstanding organization.
It's a top to bottom organization, and
so that's why, man, you think the football gods would, in a close game, have a bounce go our way.
Because if they did, they win that game. And if Jaquiski Tartt catches that ball against the Rams, they beat the Rams and go to the Super Bowl in 21 and face the Bengals.
I think the Niners have officially surpassed any football organization, including the Raiders, for most heartbreaking losses in a playoff. I think they've passed them. We can go over 10 games that they lost in heartbreaking fashion. Niners could have 10 Super Bowls easily.
I still say the biggest problem is it's not Kyle. It might be who's sitting in the not in the Oval Office, but the office down the street in the former San. When I put that up on Sunday, it said we're screwed and Kamala Harris. I mean, I'm obviously being facetious here, but sports is weird how things work. You watch what's going to happen to the Chiefs. They're not going to. Tom Brady won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. Do you know how long it took him to win another one?
It was a while in between.
10 years. He went from 2004 to 2014. And he got lucky there because that was the Russell Wilson pick at the goal line. Had they just given the ball to Beast Mode, Marshawn Lynch, Brady does not win that Super Bowl. And that would have been 11 years. But they won that year, and then they come back and win a couple more. So there's no guarantee that the Chiefs keep winning. Things can bounce the other way. How about the Giants beating the 17-0 Patriots at the time. They were about to be 18-0, right? Or no, they were 18-0. They were about to be 19-0. And David Tyree makes this catch with the ball hanging on his head, on the back of his helmet. Like, if this was a ball, he's like, got it back here. So breaks happen. When you play sports, you have to have everything go right. How about the Warriors' first title in 2015? Every opponent the Warriors played in each round lost their best player.
Yep.
It just so
you got to have some luck.
And then look at 19. The Warriors are going to three-peat with KD goes down. Then Klay Thompson goes down. They still could have won that series without KD because they were winning game 6. And Klay goes down with an ACL. So winning sports championships takes as much luck as it does skill. Okay? So
of all the big games the Niners have played lately, was this the one that you felt the most confidence about?
I was nervous about this game in some ways just because of the way the Chiefs were starting to play in the playoffs. And, I felt like the Niners could win, but, there's no – they didn't play well at all down the stretch. They didn't even deserve to be in the Super Bowl. Just making it this year, things fell their way. Sports, unless you're the 85 Bears or the
89 Niners,
89 Niners or the 94 Niners, where you just dominate and you're the best. Niners. Yeah, 84 Niners. You dominate and you're just clearly a class above everybody else. Or the 2 years the Warriors won with Durant, it was like, hey, if they don't get hurt, don't even bother showing up against them because, they're going to win. I kind of think, how do you think the Houston Rockets felt up 3-2, and then they're up in, they got the games at home to close it out, and they missed like 27 straight 3-pointers. How do you think? That was kind of like going up against the Curry and KD. It was like, okay, that's our Mahomes and Kelsey, and you got your Harden and Russell Westbrook were kind of or Chris Paul. It was Paul. That's your Kittle and Purdy or whatever. They're really good, but a lot of times it just comes down to that.
the Niners coaching staff is, they not only fired Wilkes, but they lost their running back coach to Washington. They lost their off passing coordinator to, I think, New Orleans. They lost 4 coaches already within like 48 hours, 72 hours since the Super Bowl.
All right, let me bring this point up again.
They're already getting poached. They're going to lose a lot of free agents.
Yeah, let me bring this up again because this is a good point. You kind of, by the way, the running backs coach was
Anthony
former Anthony. He's more of the assistant. They still have what's his name? The guy that stepped away and came back. He's considered the best running backs coach maybe of all time. Was Terrell Davis's running back coach?
Bobby Turner.
Yeah, Bobby Turner. Thank you. Think about this.
Point. Bobby Turner is one of the most respected coaches in all the NFL. I wonder if Kyle and him talked about coming out of halftime about the plays, and then when Kyle went all pass, I wonder what Bobby Turner thought. Bobby Turner's one guy. I don't think many guys can talk to Kyle. Jed can't. I don't even think Lynch can. Remember Lynch in the Super Bowl 54? Call a timeout. What are you doing? Call a time. Didn't call a timeout. I don't think anybody can tell anything to Shanahan. But you know what? The one guy I think he might respect might be Bobby Turner. I
True.
would love to know what Bobby Turner says off camera about those play calls. But
Well, we got a private conversation going, Eric. Who are we talking with? Who are we talking with?
Giovanni.
About Giants or?
Well, he was basically saying you support a woman abuser. So I went back and said, do you not support the Giants ownership? He says, yes, I do. Then I said, you support a woman abuser. And we're going on and on about Larry Bird.
There was no visible injury and there are no reports of previous incidents, according to attorneys, says Case to Smith. Okay. Well, is there any proof of abuse in the Bauer cases? Yes. And somebody else was saying, I think it was Matthew, that there's 3 other pending cases. Those cases, my understanding, Matthew, that Bauer sued them and that they were being settled out of court with no money exchanged because these women were trying to get money out of Bauer and he refused to pay him because he felt like what he did was he clearly said, I would never hurt a woman. I don't know there's no evidence of physical injury. There's accusations. Do we have, if somebody produced evidence, that showed that, whatever they're doing, I don't understand their adult things they're doing. But it sounds like doesn't sound like it's anything that is leaving physical scars or pain or whatever, but strange stuff. Yeah. But anyway, my point, Los, that I was going to make to you.
Yeah.
You just showed me that Shanahan's coaching staff has been poached every year. We've had how many head coaches come out of his tree? Green Bay, Miami, the Jets, coordinators being moved. This guy has constantly having to bring in new coaches and is still winning. That tells me that Kyle has a pretty good handle on how to win and get new guys into the system.
No
OJ.
No argument can be there. Absolutely.
Yeah. Mania, that's quite a bit different. OJ killed somebody with bloody, gory knives, and it was pretty obvious that the guy's lying. All the evidence was there. You just had a weak jury that was never going to convict him.
Hey, Eric, do you notice that I'm saying absolutely?
He's not innocent.
Exactly.
OJ is not innocent. He was proven not guilty.
I'm trying.
You did say I'm telling you quite a bit today, though.
That one I can't get out of my system. But I'm making a conscientious. Dan, you should be proud of me. I haven't said exactly all show long. I've pronounced everybody's last name right, and I've replaced exactly with absolutely. But I can't get away from I'm telling you. Damn it.
Yeah. Why doesn't the Chiefs staff ever get poached? Good question. Because I don't believe Spagnuolo wants to be a head coach. And I don't believe, Eric Bieniemy was there for years. He's never got a head coaching position. A lot of their coaches just want to be in the role they're in. Kyle's hired a lot of young-minded coaches that wanted to move up. Spags is an old guy. What the biggest problem?
Rather have a defensive coordinator than him. Nobody. He's so good.
Right. Maybe the best thing to do. I think they wanted to hire Fangio last year, but Miami got him.
Did you notice, Dan, watching Spags the last few years, how his blitzes are just different from any other team's blitzes? Like, he has like 7 guys at the line of scrimmage, and you just don't know who's coming. Whereas Wilkes blitzes, they're predictable. You can easily block it, give him time, and make the completion. Spags knows, he almost knows what the protection scheme is going to be, and a guy's coming where there's somebody vacant. Just a brilliant. If Spags was Kyle's defensive coordinator, Kyle might have 2 or 3 Super Bowls. He really
Maybe
would.
so. Maybe
Spags,
so. You know, my
Spags.
guess is, and I haven't watched the whole game again. My guess is that there was that Spags probably ran a defense that showed what the tendencies were on offense, what the players did, and he may have known that Burford was going to, you know, go to the left based on other plays that the Chiefs had run on defense, and Burford stopped them. You know,
You know who else had a real nice game for the Niners was Chris Conley on special teams. He made some plays, and he made an early 18-yard catch on a nice route, like towards the vertical, and then he cut it out. And I'm like, oh, okay, nice. I thought they would use him more because they obviously were shutting down. Those 2 corners of Kansas City are so good at covering and pressing. Like Debo had no separation. When I watched the film, it's almost like they knew the route. The guy was.
Oh yeah, Debo. Debo. I've said that before. He's not a great route runner. I personally, I would try and trade Debo this offseason and get as much as you can, and gets a true receiver out there that actually gets separation. I mean, I would love to see him make a trade for Justin Jefferson, personally.
That would cost an arm and a leg.
If I could get Justin Jefferson and I can get a trade for Debo, another draft pick, and I could pick up another receiver. If I had Jefferson and Ayuk, that would be awesome. But if I could get Jefferson and not have Ayuk, I would take Jefferson.
You might not need to trade for anybody and draft somebody by the name of Brendan Rice.
Yep.
Nice route runner, nice size. Jerry's son. I'm not saying he's going to be a superstar like his dad, but he's pretty good. I like his size. 3'6'4".
I mean, Jennings is a restricted free agent, so hopefully somebody doesn't offer him some huge contract that has a bunch of cap room.
He damn near broke down. He damn near broke down in the locker room today.
Jennings?
Ayuk.
Oh, Ayuk.
Yeah. He had sunglasses on, and they were asking him, what was it like going through this journey with his teammates? He couldn't answer. You could see.
Oh, I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. He wants to be here, but he was very frustrated not getting the ball. Very frustrated.
Yeah.
As was Kittle. But what are you gonna do? It's
yeah.
baseball time. Dan, we got. I'll hit you up. We got to get to some spring training practice games, all that good stuff. Did you ever get to the special?
Haven't heard back yet. And I was talking to Jim on base earlier tonight. He hasn't heard back yet on his, so maybe we'll get it.
After we go to a practice, we can find a ping pong spot and we can settle our score.
Oh boy. I did say that. Yeah, I did. I didn't think the Chiefs were that all year long. They did not show themselves to be very good team offensively. And I wanted the Chiefs because I wanted to avenge that loss of 2019 because I thought they were the better team then, and I thought they were a better team this year.
Yeah.
I still think they were a better team. I think the ball, didn't bounce their way. I think the play of the game was that punt. If Ray catches that ball just as a normal punt, we don't know if they go 3 and out or if they move the ball, but they were still in control of the game. It was 10-6 at the time. If they would have just came down and got a field goal, they still were, a touchdown ahead. but they were due. They were due because they had not done anything the first couple of drives. And or was that the third drive? Was that after the punt? Was it Kansas City? Kansas City turned it over on an interception. Niners got the ball back, didn't 3 and out, punted. Kansas City punted. Niners got the ball. I think it was 3 and out again, their first 2 series. And then I can't remember if the Niners did something on their third series. Can't remember. But, yeah, I did want the Chiefs. I actually thought that they would have more trouble with Baltimore. I might have been wrong on that.
No, I think nobody saw the Chiefs kind of coming out of nowhere like this. Not to go through the gauntlet big respect. And Miami was a good team. It was a cold ass game, but Miami, Buffalo, Baltimore, and the Niners, they earned this Super Bowl for sure.
Yeah.
And they did not have the best roster by any means, but man, they had their defense. I'm telling you, Mahomes gets the credit. That's why when I hear this chat about him being a GOAT already, like, Brady won 7, and old ass man Brady beat young Mahomes head to head, and you're going to give Mahomes the GOAT already? And Mahomes isn't above Montana, in my opinion, yet, because Mahomes has squeaked by his Super Bowls, his defense, and a few calls. Again, 4 games, 0 holding calls, and they're an average offensive line. Think about that. And he didn't blow any of his opponents out in the Super Bowl. He squeaked by in a lot of them. Doesn't mean he's not a great quarterback. Montana blew out his opponents with the exception of Cincinnati that one year.
Right.
So I still got Joe.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll pass him eventually. He's 28. I get it. But right now, they're calling him over Brady too? Nah. Come on. Slow down.
Debo's – that's not his real name, Debo. I can't remember his first name. It's we could look it up. It's some hard to pronounce name. I know. Yes, it starts with a T. Yeah.
Yeah, Tyus, Tyus, or something like that. Holy crap! 3 hours and 13 minutes.
Yeah, that's me.
Eric
the beginning.
Eric was coming on by himself for a little.
I was on for about an hour, right?
His name is Tyshawn Raquan Samuel. Tyshawn. Tyshun. Right there. Tyshawn.
Mm-hmm.
See that? So
you hear this report about the Giants and Reggie Crawford? They're going to make him only a pitcher.
Yeah,
I knew that was coming.
I talked about that earlier. That's good. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. Did you hear he's out for like 3 or 4 weeks?
3 to 4 weeks because of a lat.
Yeah.
And Kai White Tang is out 2 to 3 weeks because of an oblique. I already talked about that in the beginning.
So there goes those looking at those 2 guys.
So
much before you came on, I told Eric I'm very curious to see Tyler Fitzgerald's progression this year as a utility guy. He can hit. We need hitting on this squad. We need to score runs.
Yeah. What's going on in the chat? Oh, we're still talking about Bauer. Yeah. Hey guys, we're saying the Giants should do it. Will they do it? No, we know they won't. They're not. Trevor Bauer will not be a Giant. Okay.
I'm just saying he keeps saying he will not be a Giant and talking about this. Like, well, then advocate for firing Larry Bear. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean,
there's video of it. There's no it's not accusations. There's video of it.
Right. Even though it was minor, it was still.
Yeah, but still, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever. I'm not going to go over that. Man, we're almost 3.5 hours into this thing.
What is somebody saying?
About Eric? The video of Matos.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. I'll leave that for another day.
Yeah, man. I didn't even. Soon enough. I only came on because I got baited in.
Oh, so that's okay. Okay, that's okay, Giovanni. So if you're trying to reach for someone's phone, it's okay to go ahead and shove your wife. Got it. I'll remember that next time. That's a pretty good take, Giovanni. That's a pretty good take.
coming out
he's
and
just
saying
trying to
that
get his
on,
phone. Hey, why didn't he just give her a right hook? He's just trying to get his phone.
coming out and saying that on Valentine's Day.
Come on, dude.
By the way, I call today Ladies' Day. My wife gets a big kick out of that. And I say, "Oh, happy Ladies' Day to you," because it ain't about the guys.
He's just trying to get his phone. That's your.
I go, we don't get nothing.
He was just trying to get his phone. Come on.
Yeah, that's like it's funny. Like I was watching a Warrior game the other night, and Wiggins took a 3-point shot, and the guy. There's a rule in the NBA: you have to give the guy space to land.
Right.
And he stepped right on his foot, and could have hurt his ankle really bad. And he clearly stuck his foot where he landed, and the referee, then they reviewed it for whatever they call it, a hostile act, or whatever they call the
hostile act.
Well, or it's something reckless. It's reckless. It's called reckless something of, I can't even remember. Anyway, here's the referee's explanation. They said it was just they didn't call it a reckless because it was he was too close. He wasn't far away where he came in recklessly and stepped into his space. So I'm thinking the same thing as Bob Fitzgerald. He says, okay. So just when you're just guarding a guy, just stick your foot under when he goes up for a jump shot. If you're close by, just stick your foot so he lands on when he comes down. Since it was close, you just hurt him that you can just kind of injure him that way. And it's not reckless because you didn't come from far away. It's just so the logic people make. It's crazy.
Giovanni. Whatever. I'm just gonna leave it.
Don't let him rile you up.
I'm just gonna leave it.
Hey, Eric, see what Shota Mategi said from Japan.
Shota
Mategi. I love it.
Huh,
hey,
interesting.
Hey, much love to Japan for the ladies appreciating men. And I'm sure they do in the Philippines as well. You get out of America and it's a little bit equal. Thumbs up. Arigato.
Oh man. Yeah. It's great when you get
God.
Hey, I got C's candies today. She knows I love my C's candy.
Ooh, C's candy. What's your favorite?
Nuts and Chews.
Yeah, I love Nuts and Chews. Do you like the one that has the little rum, or not the rum? It's the little red. What's it?
I do not like gooey stuff in chocolate. It's not me.
You don't like you straight Nuts and Chews. You don't like the caramel in the.
Please, no jokes about Nuts and Chews, please. I know we can go there. It's 12:45 Arizona time. We don't know to go there.
Lois, where do you have Carroll projected in your draft?
4 to 6th.
4 to 6, huh?
Acuna.
Yeah.
Julio.
Number 1.
Yeah, about 4 to 6.
Oh, hey guys, I heard something today. We were talking. I was listening, and I was going to text you guys, but I Loud Outs was ranking their top third baseman. I don't remember their top 8, but somebody, I'm trying to remember. I don't think Chapman was in the top. I only heard the 8. I think there was like 10. If anybody heard the Loud Outs third baseman today,
we have
what?
Don't ask me.
We do not have any pitchers. What are you talking about?
Who's your pitchers? Yeah, you
Giants.
Have
yeah, just list the starting rotation.
You have pitchers. Okay, you have. Give me one.
The second
proven,
half of the season, maybe.
Give me one proven starting pitcher besides Webb. There's 5 in a rotation. Give me one
proven starters.
Proven. Proven. Not just starters.
Webb, Harrison Hicks. Harrison hasn't been proven. Hicks has been proven to suck as a starting pitcher. Who else?
Wow, we're talking.
So in the first three that you mentioned, we got one. The jury is still out on Harrison. Don't know. Remember Kyle Crick? Remember Tyler Beatty?
Her name was Lola. She was a showgirl.
I talked about this earlier. There's always hype on some of these pitchers. Remember Kyle Crick? Huge hype. Tyler Beatty, huge hype. They're going to be awesome. Well, when it came time for the big lights, not so much. We don't know. I hope he does well, but he hasn't proven it yet. Tell me, where are the pitchers? We already have pitchers. So tell me. Godo, yeah. How about we just get Snell? I agree. How about Snell? That's the best option. If we get Snell, that would prove Farhan is not a liar.
Oh yeah, shopping at the top end of the
Top
pitching
end,
order.
right? That's what he said on the set of
There was
MLB Tonight.
hey, what were you shopping for? Because there's only 3 top end pitchers in the entire free agency. It was Yamamoto, Snell, and Montgomery.
Yep.
So where are you shopping? You didn't get Yamamoto, so you just quit?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm fine with Montgomery. It's better than what we have now. So where's Mania? Where's these pitchers that we don't need?
Hey, if they get Montgomery, they'll have that idea that we had a while back, Dan, where we said
Lefty. Yeah.
Robbie Ray in the second half, Montgomery and Kyle Harrison, 3 lefties in the rotation, second half.
Of course,
Hicks will be a starter. Of course he's going to be a starter. They said he's going to be. Does it mean he's going to succeed? Okay. How about this, Mania?
Here we go.
Is he going to be a good starter? Or is he going to fail at being a starter? Come on. Is he going to be a starter? Book it. Of course. They said he's going to be a starter.
And
Cobb is 35, who just came back from hip surgery. What did Lincecum do when he came back from hip surgery? Nothing. Come on, man. Come on.
He likes to
Right? I mean, I'm not saying anything that's outrageous. I'm just stating facts. Hinks has sucked as a starting pitcher. He's been awesome as a reliever. Don't mess with don't mess with something if it isn't broken. Put him in the bullpen. Have a dominant bullpen. I'm not a fortune teller. You just said that Giants got plenty of pitchers.
You got a guy that
Come on, man.
I was listening to a thing, 8 signs of a narcissist, watching a video the other night, and
was Kyle
one of them the signs was they love to get you they love to get you
riled
engaged and riled up.
That's fine. I like being riled because I love talking Giants and I love pointing out where they can improve and where they absolutely suck. And there's a lot of suck out there. Man, come on.
Oh man.
The Giants need starting pitching. 100%.
Hey, it's
Harrison,
your show.
maybe-
It's your show tonight, man. I'm just here for a ride tonight.
Dan came in to defend his ping pong status.
Yeah, and then we got on to
I
and
know we
then
went
going
everywhere.
on a defense of Kyle Shanahan, but that was good.
yeah, I came in to defend myself, and then I ended up having to defend Kyle. But you know what? Everybody can have their opinion. That's what sports is. It doesn't mean I'm right and Eric's Los is wrong, but he is. But no, seriously, it doesn't mean either one of us is right or wrong. It's an opinion, and that's what makes sports so engaging. I mean, we're not talking finals, like a final shot where somebody gets in war. I mean, if you're in war battle, I was watching Eric's show last night, watching those guys knock down those Russians.
That was rough. That's what it's about, though. That's where
blood.
Yeah.
When you put a bullet in a guy, you could say the guy that just took the bullet is wrong. He's done.
Yeah.
he has no. He's not coming back with a comeback. Okay.
Yeah, that footage is where bullet meets flesh, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
That's what it's like in the front lines of war. Yes.
So when you're dealing with that, when we're just having discussions.
Yes.
I mean, this is kind of like in the scope of life is nothing. I mean, Kansas City celebrates a Super Bowl parade
I know.
today, and somebody did not make it home. Several did not make it home.
I made a little announcement on that saying, thoughts and prayers for those who were affected. Did you see the fans that knocked the guy down and tackled him? How about that?
Was good. Yeah.
How about great.
That? Yeah. It looked like the police had the other shooter somewhere. Maybe
how many were there?
2, I believe. That's what I heard.
What is that? Like,
who knows?
Celebrating a championship, you're gonna really bring a peace and start. Man.
Well, you got some deranged people in this society that hate other people's happiness, or there's so many angry people out there, especially since COVID, that they're jacked up or whatever, and they
Stop. Stripling is no longer with the Giants, Giovanni.
And Giovanni, did you know that? How well do you know your Giants? Stripling was.
Hey, you know what? This reminds me of a certain comment I read last night that someone doesn't know something about baseball, and you, Giovanni, don't know nothing.
Is he the one that?
He's the one. He's the one.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Giovanni was the one in.
Giovanni's the one
that Dan doesn't know anything about baseball.
Yes, correct.
Hey, Giovanni. Ross Stripling was traded. I don't think you know much about baseball if you're saying that he's on the Giants.
Come on. And Ray is currently on the 60-day IL because he's recovering from Tommy John.
Giovanni.
What are you doing?
Hey, Giovanni, why
are
you
we
know what
giving this guy time?
He has a lot of gas, it looks like. Giovanni,
he does.
Vile gas. Vile gas. That's a bad name. Vile gas. I mean, you don't want to have vile gas, because that turns a lot of people off. And you are turning a lot of people off in the chat with your vile gas, Giovanni, because you don't know what you're talking about when you're talking about Ross Stripling. So we don't want vile gas coming at us.
Giovanni, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do a $10 super chat, Giovanni, because it was worth about $10 to read that comment.
Will be. I love it.
Oh my gosh, man. I don't get it.
Come on.
I don't get it.
Hey, can Giovanni come to MHC, Eric?
Yeah, I welcome anyone. I want to hear what people have to say. I got no problem, but I will.
I want to hear Giovanni's comments about world events and war. And
if he doesn't know Stripling's no longer a Giant, I don't know if he's going to have him.
I don't know where you get a name like Giovanni, because that's an Italian name, Giovanni. I'm Italian, but I've never seen.
That is
it may not even be his real name.
I've never seen Vile Gas as the last name, though. That is how you say it, right? Or is it Villegas?
I don't know. Maybe Goss. Villegas. Maybe it might be.
I like Vile Gas. I think it fits.
Man, we got people still holding on here. 92 still in the chat. Appreciate that, guys.
Geez, man.
I think I'm going to tap out.
Yeah, I'm going to tap out too.
Same here. Holy criminy, man.
Oh man, I would have been a lot. That would have been a lot funner if the Warriors kept their winning streak alive. They should have had that tonight, man. They just
they got to shore up some things still. That was a good team they played though.
Yeah, it was. I just hope they win tomorrow night, because you don't want to. You got to go back to Utah for that makeup game after playing hard tonight. All your guys, you hope you have something left in the tank for tomorrow. But I think Utah.
Yeah. Eddie Villegas is a Spanish last name. You're right. Giovanni.
Did Utah play tonight? Let me see. NBA, Utah. Hopefully they played. Yes, the Jazz played at home.
Okay, Dan, you might want to take that.
Take what?
Here, I'll put it up. Actually, I'm not going to put it up. Go ahead, just read it in the chat. That's not.
What did he say? Wow, Dan, that might be the most. What? I got to read this again. Racist thing I heard, and also it's Villegas. You're Italiano and can't pronounce my last name. How is that racist? Please, come on.
He was referring to your first name, Giovanni. Your first name is a common Italian name. He didn't mention anything about your last name. You got to listen closely.
He is.
Mark timed him out. Mike timed him out. Mark timed him out.
He is Italian, I guess. I'm just having fun with you with your last name. It's a joke. Come on. It's biogas. So is it racist? What is racist?
He made nothing. You made no mention of his nationality in any way.
Come on, I'm Italian. I'm not making fun of you as a.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Hey, Baller thought I was 5'7", and I didn't take it personal. Just by looking at me on a YouTube channel.
Gosh, yeah, hoodie, yeah. Oh my God, he says so fragile. Poor thing. Racist? That's got to be I mean, that word gets so overused in society.
Yep.
I mean,
it's easy. You know what? You know what that's called? It means you don't have an argument.
Right.
That's what it is. There's no substance, so that's easy to go. It's easy to use that.
Yeah.
That's right, Eddie.
Yeah, Kyle, you're about right. I don't call it. What was it? Wow. He got put in timeout, I think.
Yeah, Mark timed him out.
Yeah, that's good. Look,
racista.
Oh my goodness, whatever.
I don't know.
Some people just
whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of
all right, guys.
The whole show, but yeah.
Hey, look, guys.
Jim.
What's that? What? Did I miss a comment?
If you don't like tacos, you're racist.
Where was that?
Jim
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
That's great.
I don't think there's too many people on the planet that don't like tacos.
Yeah.
In fact, if you ask anybody like what's your top 3 food, Mexican food seems to
it's going to be in the top 3.
Always up there.
Yeah.
I think I've talked to maybe 4 or 5 people that have said no to that. So
Dan, need you in the league.
Oh man.
I'm hiring Dan to be a consultant behind the scenes with my
maybe if I get my credentials.
Yeah, I gotta go up there and start doing my studying. Yeah. Our draft's coming up in a month.
Yeah. All right, man. You want to end this, Eric?
Let's get out of here, guys.
You ready to kill it? It's your show tonight. I'm just popping in as a guest, man. And guys, you will see more of Eric solo at times as we go through the boredom days of spring of this season. I need breaks. I need
Bye.